Good evening and welcome to round 2 of the HSO Kart 1988 Championship, coming to you tonight from Long Beach in the western United States. Sorry, I just had a message. Sorry about that, but yeah, I am unfortunately alone in the comms booth at the moment, but we might be joined by a few drivers, namely Richard Wilkes said that he could possibly join up, and presumably Jason White might join up if they were to end up out of the race, so that's a nice thing to know in here. But the track itself, here at Long Beach, is a street circuit. Has been used since the early 70s, I want to think. And this is the layout that was used in 87 to 91. It's a 1.67 mile, or about 3 Ks. And we will be running 95 laps around here. We'll have more of a reason to look at the track when we go out on the circuit, but for now let's quickly have a look, get the live cameras up and running, where we are sitting, I believe, at turn 4, and Jason White has allowed us to join him on radio comms for a pre-race interview, so...
Channel switched.
Hello Jason, and welcome to the comms.
Hello Jonathan, how are you?
I'm pretty good this evening, a little bit tired as usual, but looking forward to this. What about you?
Well, it's an interesting question, because I was talking with Alberto about where the best place to start in this race is, and he said it would be best to start towards the back and not in the front, so that you're not involved in a first turn accident. And I told him, well, the other side of that coin is that you're in the back and you have to deal with the cavalcade of carbon fiber and suspension pieces from whatever incident happened in front of you. So it really is kind of a lottery as to who's going to do well in the first turn. This really is going to be a survival race, I think. If everybody can keep their heads cool and just not drive over the limit, then hopefully we won't have a low number of cars finishing.
That sounds like a fair call and a fair thought. So what do you think of your own pace? Do you think you'll be able to get up to the very front and avoid everything, or will you have to settle for...
I'm getting pretty good at avoiding other people's moves. I came into the first turn just recently. Yuha was sideways between turns 1 and 2, and I managed to avoid him. So it's really going to be down to who can stay out of trouble. And if there are going to be some yellows throughout, which I think is probably quite a safe bet there will be, that's going to close the field up. So it won't necessarily be about who's the fastest. Although, if I was a betting man today, I would put my money on Austin in the Quaker State Porsche.
Yeah, they would seem to be very quick in these cars.
Yeah.
He had good pace last time out, but issues that occur stopped him from taking further a good result.
Yeah. The thing that I'll be interested to see is, does the Porsche engine hold together, because this is a race that requires a lot of shifts, and you're pushing the revolutions to the extreme edge on the shoreline drive. So it'll be interesting to see if the engine lasts.
I would also be sort of interested in seeing how the brakes last, because there are a few very heavy braking zones around here.
Yeah, it's the part that worries me the most is the little U section in the back, and a lot of people have been saying that this is like one of the worst Long Beach layouts in history, and I wouldn't debate them on that. This section that I'm talking about is just before Seaside, which is on the back side of the straight, and it goes underneath the Hyatt Regency parking garage. And you're basically going through this single file, but it is a place where you can gain or lose a lot of time depending on how quickly you get through there. In order to get through there quickly, you have to really take some risks and almost hang the back end out and come very, very close to clipping the walls. But if you take it easy going through there, you lose a lot of time. So it's a real... in qualifying, people are really going to take it to the edge going through there, but in the race, I doubt it. I think people are going to be very gingerly through there, or they should be, if they want to finish.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you on those points.
Yeah. Have you already showed our viewers the point standings for the series?
No, I actually forgot to. I think I actually forgot to add them in all together. I didn't need it. Oops. But no, I haven't show them the results yet. And I will be doing so in a few more moments here.
Yeah, I think everybody was really surprised and pleased with Alan's victory at Phoenix, his first HSO victory. The other thing that was great about that is that he duplicated history, because in 1988 it was that car that won the race in the hands of Mario Andretti. So we'll see if he can add to that points lead in this race. He's currently qualified just ahead of me on the grid, but knowing Alan, he's not to be counted out on road courses, so we'll see how he does.
Yeah, that was a great win from him, and somewhat surprising as well, because it didn't seem like he had that much pace, but when the time came, he flew away, more or less.
The other guy that I've got my eye on in this race is, a couple of guys. Rob Swindell's in the Dick Simon Lola is putting together some really fast times. And Grant Riddall, who is actually in this race, this is the one race that he drives a year-old Lola, a T87. And then he goes back to the T88 for Indianapolis. So, and he's been complaining that, I want my T88 back. So there is a difference. They look very similar, but there is a difference. The principal difference between the T87 and the T88 is the T87 is wider in the cockpit, and the T88 is narrower.
Okay.
Designers trying to get the maximum aerodynamic purity out of the car,
but at the same time taking away any possibility for the drivers to feel comfortable. By the sounds of things.
I read that by 1990, the Indy cars had gotten so small in the cockpit that the drivers' shoulders just basically locked into the back of the cockpit. You couldn't hardly move. So that was the designer's way of dealing with the governing body taking away downforce in the form of the tunnels and making the wings slightly smaller. Their response was to also it was a response to the rolling back of Turbo Boost, I believe. But they just made the cockpit narrower.
So sort of a back then version of the if I can remember what the car is called. Well, it was raced in the US in the endurance scene for 3 or 4 years.
Mm.
But I can't remember what it's called, but sort of a back then version of that, modern iteration of it, as such.
I think the epitome of small cockpits in IndyCar racing history was the March 90P Porsche, the last car that the Porsche team ran in IndyCar racing. It had an incredibly small cockpit. It was actually designed for Teo Fabi and John Andretti, because they are very small people, and they are the only people who could fit in those cars.
A bummer for anyone who wants to do a guest drive or something, man.
On the other hand, if your name is Teo Fabi or John Andretti, it assures you some job security.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very fair point.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, you can see some people are just letting the back end hang out on some of these turns when the turbo kicks. It's very easy to let the car kind of slip away from you, and you're like really on a knife edge between going as quickly as you can and losing the back end. So it's, this is going to be really challenging 95 laps for anybody, regardless of what car they drive.
And I noticed that I did a few laps just to try everything out, as I didn't do any pre-season laps, and that was a scary experience doing. I think I did 15 or 20 laps.
One of the tricks, from what I've found, to keep the car stable and smooth is to keep, and this would have been true in real life too, is to keep the revs up in the corners. So to avoid dropping the revs as much as possible, because when the revs do drop, then the turbo isn't lit, and then when you get back into the throttle, it kicks again. So if you can stay in that upper in that rev limit, that in that rev range that will keep the turbo spinning, then you have less chance of the car breaking loose. So that's what I've been trying to do to try to keep the car stable. It's easier said than, because if you have to get on the binders suddenly, then you're down, then the turbo's no longer lit, and then you. But that's the biggest challenge of these cars, is dealing with the big lag, the big delay.
That's an interesting addition, because obviously it's much less of an issue on the ovals compared to these street courses like Long Beach and even the official race courses as such.
Well, those of you who are watching now, I mean, obviously after this race, the next race we have is the Indianapolis 500, which is going to be an all-month fair, track opening on May 1, qualifying on the 14th, I believe, and then the race is on the 21st. But that will see the introduction of the stock block Buick V6. I'll be driving one of those, and those are allowed more boost than the thoroughbred racing engines of the Judd and Cosworth and Chevrolet, for example. V6 and the turbo kicks very suddenly in that engine. So as far as like turbos being easy to handle on ovals, I don't know. I mean, all you have to do is look at Roberto Guerrero being on the pole at Indy in 1992, and you can see what happens when you have a monovalve stock block engine and suddenly all the power comes at once. He was just trying to warm the engine and get some heat in the turbocharger, and then swapped ends on him probably before he knew what was going on. Poor guy. Everybody was rooting for him that year too, because he had a picture-perfect month, qualified 232 miles per hour. I've never seen a car look more stable on that track before. The car just looked like it was sticking like glue. He didn't even have to go under the white line. It's just amazing.
So that was a bit like watching the V8 Supercars. I think it was in 2004 or 2005 when his the one lap shootout that Greg Murphy did was a sub 206 or sub 207.
Mm-hmm.
Sub
Oh, our
207.
friend Richard Coxon is not going to be racing today. He's up actually at Donington watching the British Touring Car Championship, the real thing.
Well, there's been a lot of issues.
That's
I
what
noticed.
I hear. So I may try to find footage of that later, but man, I've been up at that track and seen vintage racing there before. It must be a really great venue to see top line racing at.
Especially seeing them coming down the Craner curves must be
Oh
a
yeah,
very fantastic experience.
it's a really picturesque circuit. It's
Bit
nice
like-
to be at. The people who run the place are really nice too. It's a really nice facility. They have a cool museum too.
I didn't know about that actually.
Oh man, yeah, I've got some photos I'll have to share with you. But when I went up there with Richard Coxon, we went to the museum when there was a break in the action on the track, and they have just an amazing collection of Formula 1 cars, Formula 5000. They even had a few military vehicles there. It's pretty cool.
It sounds like an amazing place to visit.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to try to get down to Indianapolis for Time Trials Day, because from what I understand, there's an AJ Foyt exhibit there right now that AJ was actually involved in. He shipped a bunch of cars to the IMS museum, so that's still there. I want to go check that out. Rare chance to see a bunch of his cars in one place.
Yeah, that sounds like something all of us would
Yeah.
would like to take the opportunity
So-
to visit.
Do you have the point standings?
Yes, I do. I showed them a little bit earlier, but I am bringing them up yet again. So in terms of points, as Jason mentioned earlier, Alan Forster is in the lead, having taken a win over at Phoenix in the first round. Alberto Ibañez was able to hold off Jason Fitch for second in that race, after sustaining some damage hitting one of the outside retaining walls. Dana Schurer survived a late race scare with a spin coming onto the front straight to get fourth. And fifth currently is David Saber, who had a pretty quiet race to get to fifth.
The maximum points that you can score on the track, well, for first place is 20 points, and Alan has 21 points because he scored one bonus point for leading the most laps.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and also Dustin Langert, who won the pole position, got 1 point. Fortunately, he didn't finish. Also, I'm not sure he's actually on track right now, which is a surprise, because he's a guy who particularly quick in his Mackenzie Lola. I would have thought he would have been up at the front, but he's not here right now, unless I'm mistaken.
Have a quick look to see.
We've got about 10 minutes to go. We do have some people, though, that are making appearances here in one-off drives.
Noticed Pascal Mikola is driving.
Yeah, Mikola is driving the Barago United Lola, and we have Mikhail Yannick jumping into the Machinists Union March at the last minute. We also...
And then I think David Yates, isn't it?
Yeah, David Yates is driving for Richard Coxon today in the Domino's Pizza March. And then we have, I believe there's one other driver as a one-off. Ray Radal is driving in place of Lee Simpson today, I believe. So a good chance for a lot of people who didn't get cars full-time in this series to experience a race and rack up some one-off drives. So if cars do become available, and my suspicion is that there will be a couple that become available after this race because of non-attendance, that there could potentially, unless people, there may be some that trickle down to the waiting list. So we'll see.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And we also got the British Grand Prix on Sunday next week. We were a little late getting the track finished, but only a few days late, so that's going to go up immediately after this race is complete.
And we are joined by Alberto Ibañez as well in the comments here. Good evening, Alberto.
Good evening, guys.
Hey. So Alberto, who do you think, if you were putting your money on someone today, who would you put your money on?
Greg wasn't. We really miss him in this series. I mean, he would be very competitive here. The obvious favorite is Austin Ogonowski. I don't think that I'm finding anything special that nobody knew before.
Mm-hmm.
But we will see. This is a track that is very dangerous. It's too easy to make an error, not even by yourself, but lapping a car or whatever.
Yeah. Old, well, the Quaker State mantra is that Quaker State engines don't know when to quit. It'll be interesting. I told Jonatan earlier to see if the Porsche engine can make it the 95 laps, because this is the track that really puts an engine's rev range to the test.
Yeah, that's right. I'm using maximum safe gear, radiator wide open, and RPM toned down. And I think, like you, Jason, I think we're going to take things calm.
Yep.
And try to finish the race.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Take it easy.
Okay. Good luck to you.
All right. Good luck.
User left your channel.
Well, it's actually... It's interesting also to look at the hairpin, because some people are taking a very shallow entry and others are taking a very wide entry, and then there's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, you can. It really comes down to how good a purchase you can get off that hairpin. Some people are probably set up in such a way that they can come off of that wider and still be quick, and there are probably others who are set up that they need to like clip the inside as much as possible. But having a wide entry point on that hairpin doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be slow down the straight. It may actually benefit some people. The section, the turn 1, 2, 3 complex at the end of Shoreline Drive, that's a lot of fun actually to run into, because you basically just downshift. At least I'm downshifting the third. You just carry as much speed through there as you can, and there's a nice rhythm to those corners, considering that it's a street circuit.
Yeah, I remember the 78 F1 race with the sweeping turns. That was the back section, as it were, before you got up to the pits
right along
area.
Right along the waterfront with the Queen Mary in the background, which is a permanent resident of Long Beach Harbor.
And also
Doesn't go anywhere.
Sorry.
No, it doesn't go anywhere, but it's you can tour the ship. There's also a I don't know if it's there all the time, but there was a Russian submarine there too. In the harbor.
That's an interesting addition to an American harbor, I must say. Considering considering the country's history together.
Yeah. Long Beach, as a town, was kind of a rundown place in the mid '70s. It wasn't really a destination place, and then when they had the first Long Beach Grand Prix, I think it was in '75, the Formula 5000 race. That was the very first race they had, and then Formula One took over. And then 1983, Indy cars took over. But the attention that the race brought to the city was very beneficial. And if you looked at photographs of downtown Long Beach between the mid '70s and now, the difference is amazing. It became a a much different place with a lot of high rises, and it's a casebook study of the positive impact that a international motorsport event can have on a city.
Yeah, it's a little bit, it's, I'd assume it's similar to Macau in that regard, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people would say that this race, the Grand Prix of Long Beach, is the IndyCar series version of Monte Carlo, essentially. With the sun and Hollywood being close by, and it has a lot of and the fact that it's a street race, it has a lot of parallels to the Monaco Grand Prix, I guess.
Yeah, it had even more so with the layout they used in the 70s, with going up the hill and then down again.
That section on Linden Avenue is not in this configuration, but that's one of my favorite sections on this track because they turn right after the pit exit, and the track just drops out from underneath you. From what I've read, people said it was akin to a roller coaster type situation. Suddenly, you feel your stomach going up in your inside you.
Yeah, similar to Laguna Seca and the corkscrew.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
With the way that one works.
Of course, with that that section there, it had the very precarious pit exit with the traffic light at the end of the thing. Fortunately, we don't have that problem here. There's a very clearly delineated pit exit with a blue painted line, and we have cones, so there should not be, fingers crossed, knocking on wood, there should not be any pit exit incidents if people are careful and know what they're doing.
Well, the only situation that would be issues, I'd assume, is if someone makes a mistake with a boost or something and it kicks in and it spins them all over the place.
That's the point, and that's the thing that worries me the most, is somebody getting sideways in front of me and my having to take evasive action. I think that's the concern I have. More than anything. So we got Austin in first and Grant Radal second right now.
If you could check the chat in the TS, by the way, Jason.
User disconnected from your channel.
Okay, sorry, never mind. So that's... I'd assume that ooh is a yes in regards to the questions that was being asked.
Yeah, I believe we have one more one-off driver joining because we've discovered that, well, now it's, Dustin clearly is probably not going to show up here. So we got one more driver joining us. So this is amazing. We've got we have a couple people who are out of town because of the Easter holiday, but we have like a surprising number of one-offs that are just suddenly falling out of the sky. So that's another thing that'll be an interesting thing to watch. The one-off drivers as opposed to the series drivers. We've had longer than normal to prepare for this race. 2 weeks, actually, and that was somewhat by design, because this is a very difficult track. But there it is. Austin Oganowski takes the pole position in 1 point. Grant Radal second. Swindell's third. Martin Lucina fourth. Yves Placé is fifth in the with the Judd-powered Lola. He's got the same equipment I do, so that proves that you can go around here quickly if you know what you're doing. Jan Kowalski, who is guest driving in the number 2 STP Lola, is sixth. Richard Wilkes seventh. He's another guy I would tip to possibly win today. David Jakes guest driving is 8th, Alberto Ibañez 9th, and his teammate Drexler in the Miller High Life Penske is 10th. So I envy your position as the commentator, because the first turn ought to be really interesting.
It'll either
Get ready
be
with your
it'll either
get
be
ready with
interesting.
your
So go
oh
ahead.
dearie me's.
Yeah, I think they will become very handy around here.
Yes.
I think well, the thing is, if everyone gets through turn 1, 2, 3, and possibly the horseshoe section on the first lap, technically the hairpin as well, then everyone will hopefully be more or less okay for the duration of the race.
Yeah. Yellows will be triggered not only by accidents, but by cars that are stationary on the track. So it's going to be a situation of, hopefully everybody can just keep going, even if there are incidents. Just, don't park the car in the circuit, because that'll cause a yellow as well. All right. Well, I'm going to get myself settled in for the race. It was really nice chatting with you.
Yep, thank you very much for joining us for the pre-race talk-up, and I wish you good luck. Hopefully
Thanks.
you'll do good tonight, or this
Well,
evening, or
if
this day.
if I have an early exit, I'll join you in the booth. But I'm hoping, no offense, that I'm I'm in the race to the end. All right. Well, enjoy the race, and hopefully you'll have a good show for everybody at home. Thank you again for your great commentary and direction work. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and again, good luck, and hopefully talk to you after the race and not during. More than in yellows, of course.
All right. Catch you later.
User left your channel. Channel created.
So there we are. So that's Jason White helping us out a little bit, which I'm very thankful for. Let's see, so let's see if we can catch a ride on board with anyone on a lap where they are at least some bit around the lap. Here we are. So we are on board with Yves Placé coming into the hairpin and onto Shoreline Drive. Past the start-finish line. And this little kink here, I think is called Bridgestone. At least the year it was used, and into Toyota, this right-left section with the anti-cuts on the right there. And the left, and then a somewhat tight right-hander trying to get into the camber. And through Michelob, which I think is this one right here, and onto... No, sorry, this is Michelob, and onto Penthouse Avenue. Sorry, Pine Avenue this is, my bad. Comes with not knowing the circuit as well as others do, but onto Seaside Valley or Seaside Avenue. And into Penthouse, this right-hander here. Wheel lying on there, unfortunately, and into Indy left. This long sweeping left-hander. And then into the hairpin once again. And here we have a little bit of a battle, so let's see if we can enjoy the show here. See how the racing can and should be during the race. Oh, Jason White, I think that is, has just had a bit of a spin in the Indy left. Oh, sorry, I unfortunately didn't change the camera angle, so there we are. Let's have a ride on board anyway, right here. And this is Bridge. We just went through Bridgestone, and here is Toyota yet again. Now with you being able to see it, sorry for that bit of a mistake. And we can see the car ahead getting very wide, straddling the curbs quite heavily. Coming up the inside into Michelob on Pine Avenue. We're getting very close to the wall right there. And try to get the car in right here. Onto Seaside. And into Penthouse. And then this is in the left. Again getting very close to the wall. Now onto Shoreline Drive and the start-finish line. You can see on the rev limiter right there, above 10,000 RPM, never below that on the straight. Down to first actually for this section. Interesting to see different drivers having a different philosophy. Right here we have second gear for David Saber. Looks like it's second gear everywhere except for possibly the hairpin. Actually, it would. Yep, he's still in second, so he uses first only for the getaway. And we can hear the very nice sound of his engine going down Shoreline. Just going to see, and that means Juha Boos is driving the stock block Chevy for this race. Again a one-off. The car that Jan Kowalski brought to, I think it was 6th or 7th place in Phoenix last time out. Oh, and here is a nice little battle developing on the warm-up between Peter Blom and Dana Schurer. I will be right back. I'm just going to fetch a little bit to drink during the race, and so yeah, I'll be back in a minute or so. there we are. I'm back and ready to be here all the way to the finish. You can see just a little bit of damage for David Saber there. Hopefully the pit crew will be able to fix that before the race starts. You see, so the time has run out, so the race will be going in a minute or so time. I think they will have a formation lap and then a rolling start. If I'm not entirely mistaken, I think that's how kart did things. At least at the time I was watching the series, although that was about 10 years after 88. And I'll try to go through the grid as well as I can on the formation lap. Although, because it's a fairly short circuit, I might not have the time. We'll certainly try. On pole, as Jason mentioned earlier, is Austin Ogonowski in the Quake Estate Porsche powered car. I think it's the March. Grant Ridal took second. He was on for battling for the win at Phoenix until he had an unfortunate off. Rob Swindells gets third. Martin Asina gets fourth. Fifth is Yves Placet. Sixth, Jan Kowalski. Seventh, Richard Wilkes. Sixth for David Yates. Seventh for Alberto Ibañez. Sorry, this could be. My apologies. 9th for Alberto Ibañez. 10th for Michael Rechler. David Jund gets 11th in a one-off drive. No, sorry, that's his full-time drive. My apologies yet again. He also had a struggle at Phoenix, but was able to finish. 12th for Peter Blom in the Jiffy car. 13th for Dana Schurer. It'll be interesting to see how she goes in these cars on road courses. 14th for David Saber. Just wanted to make sure. 15th for Ray Redal in his one-off drive. Hackman, so I don't know what his first name is.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Okay, so there seems like there's been a small issue on the formation lap. Yep, that would seem to have been the issue, unfortunately. But hopefully it'll be no problems this time around. Let's see if we can get back to... Hackman had 14th, I think, sorry, 16th, and he's number 14, Copenhagen, sponsored Gilmore team car. Mikla got 15th, Parker 16th, 17th for Alan Forster, our Phoenix winner, 18th for Michal Janak in his one-off drive, 19th for Jason White, 20th for Juha Bos in the stock block Chevy V8 powered daily machine. Holada got 21st with Della Cella running out the field in 22nd second position. So this will be very interesting to watch this race start as they are coming around the horseshoe and turning onto Seaside here. So let's see if everyone can get lined up alright here as the safety car pulls into the pits. And the field is green and on the way. And Ogonowski has the lead, although he's being challenged, and everyone else comes streaming through. Relatively unscathed so far, but let's see into turn 1, as Ridol is having a bit of a look up the inside of Ogonowski and actually goes by, and Ogonowski has further troubles as someone has the shortcut. It's Michael Drechle, completely overshot turn 1, but he seems to be our only casualty at the moment. Let's see, is anyone else in trouble back a bit further back? It would seem that everyone got through turn 1, more or less unscathed, apart from Michael Drechle, who unfortunately is still trying to rejoin, without damaging his car too badly. Oh dear, he has lost the front wing, but hopefully he'll be okay. Hopefully he'll get a safety car somewhere. But at the moment, going into Penthouse, Grant Ridal is in the lead, with Rob Swindells in second. Ogonowski has dropped down to third in his Porsche. Jan Kowalski in another one-off is fourth, and fifth is Martin Lasina. Let's keep following the lead for the time being, as the racing should be a bit further back. Jan Kowalski is challenging Ogonowski. Ogonowski is trying to hold on around outside, but he goes up onto the curb, and Kowalski is through. So it looks like Ogonowski is struggling a lot in these early stages of the race. Owen's very sideways coming out of turn 3 there. So let's see the rest of the field come through. Here comes Richard Wilkes, Ibañez. Jason White was in there, I think. Alan Forster there. No, there's Jason White. You have Bors coming through. And then we have Della Cella and one more to come through. Bob Holada right there, doing his best. As Jan Kowalski goes very deep in the hairpin, but gets good purchase and good acceleration off the corner. So 2 laps in, Grant Ridal is in the lead, second for Rob Swindells, third for Jan Kowalski, fourth for Ogonowski, fifth for Martin Lasina, who's being challenged by Yves Placé, who's in seventh, eighth for David Yates, and then there's a gap back to Richard Wilkes in ninth, and Peter Bloom rounding out the top 10 with David Jund still in 11th, Ibañez 12th. Then there's Pascal Mikola in the Divraio car. Schurer is 13th, 14th for David Saber, 15th for Ray Ridal, I think 16th for Steve Parker, 17th for Hackman, as he got very sideways there. 18th for Michal Janak, 19th for Alan Forster, 20th for Juha Bors, slipping back a little bit in his non-turbocharged Chevy. And Jason White has had some kind of issue, I think, because he's back to 21st. Della Cella 22nd, 23rd for Bob Holada, and unfortunately it would seem like Michael Drechle is still in the pits. But back to the lead, Grant Ridal is opening up a bit of a gap to Rob Swindells. It looks like the top. Oh, oh dear me! Oh, don't stall the car. Jan Kowalski has had a spin. Oh dear me! Oh. Good work from Jan to not go to leave enough room around outside when he tried to rejoin. So that's Jan Kowalski down to, I think, 17th or so position, 16th position. So that's a big, that's a lot of positions lost for him. Very unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. See, back up the field. So it's now Ogonowski back up to third and still staying, or getting closer I should say, to Rob Swindells, who had a bit of a gap to him just a half a lap or so ago. And we have a yellow. Let's see if we can find out what has happened. Oh, it looks... Oh, Alberto Ibañez is out of the race. Wow, what has happened here? Oh, it looks like a big off of some kind. It's Pascal Mikula he's fighting with right here. Pascal Mikula was right behind him. Looks like he looked up the inside, had a bit of a moment, and oh, both of them into the wall hard. It looks like a few more was unfortunately involved in that. Michal Janak is also out of the race. Drechler is trying to, has been in the pits for quite a while, but is coming out now. It looks like he is the last car running, but everyone else seems to have survived more or less. Dana Schurer is also out of the race.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening. I think that's Pascal, if I'm not mistaken. No, sorry, Michal Janak. Good evening.
Connection lost.
Ah, that's unfortunate. I thought you were. I thought because of the yellow you were involved in a crash that happened just moments later.
No. Everything looks okay. I started qualification last 20 minutes because I didn't got any car, and finally I find how to drive this car, and from 18th position, and
An unfortunate situation occurred with the disconnection. That's very unfortunate for you. It looked like you were having a pretty good time in the race up until that point. Sitting in, I think, 12th position or maybe even further up than that.
around 18th, but it was very good for me.
Okay. Do you think you will, I assume you will be trying to get a drive for Indianapolis?
Yes, I want to try it.
That sounds good. Do you have any thoughts on that event
User
in
joined your
itself?
channel.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming event of Indianapolis?
Oh, finish the race. It is mine goal.
Okay. I hear that we are also joined by Alberto Ibañez. Good evening, Alberto. Oh, well,
Hello.
hello again.
Hello.
That was a very unfortunate incident. I only caught the sort of back end of it, but it looked like you and Mikula couldn't go 2 into 1.
Yeah, he was on my right. He was trying to overtake me, and I thought he wasn't going to make the turn. I stood to the left side, to the exterior of the track, and had to make a very late entry. And then he clipped a bit my rear wheel, and that modified my trajectory and made me hit the wall. And he hit me also when I bounced off the wall. So, well, these are things that happen in one of those street circuits. No place to go for anybody.
Well, that was very unfortunate, and it was what it looked like in that looked like then. Looked like you were also having a good run up until that point. I think you were sitting in the low teens.
I was actually pretty comfortable with my pace. I was surprised that I could stay with David John, with Peter Blom, and with Richard Wilkes. I didn't expect that. I don't know what setting they are using. I was on boost 3. And well, I didn't want to really fight, just following them. And Pascal reached all of us. And well, that's what happened when he tried to overtake. But otherwise, the race was going more or less good, I would say. Like I said, completely unexpected that I had pace to stay with them.
That's good to hear that you at least were having a good time and was enjoying the whole situation as such. Let's see, so the safety car's pulled in, so the race is underway again, so we'll continue talking to you in the next yellow. Thank you, I would really appreciate it. As at the front, there's almost 4 wide going into turn 1, but it turns out that everyone wants to survive this part of the race, so everyone filed into one line more or less. So it's still Grant Rudall in the lead, with Robson Rudall's right behind him now.
And Aston Yagonowski in third place, I see. It seems that he can't maybe have the same race pace that he had in qualifying.
Well, it seemed like he was lacking pace early on, so I was sort of thinking that it may have been, seems like we have another yellow with everyone slowing down. But it would seem like his tires may not have been up to temperature as quickly as everyone else's. Though you will of course be correct in that regard. Oh, it looks like Hackman has had an incident as he's missing a front wheel. Let's see if we can possibly find out what happened. We can catch some of it. It would seem like he had a moment going into Michelov. Looked like he locked up the wheels and speared straight ahead. And
yeah,
Bob
he missed
Hollard,
his brake point apparently.
yes, and Bob Hollard is in the pits during this yellow. He may have been in there since before the yellow. I don't know if he may have been involved in the off you had, Alberto. And here comes Hackman into the pits, hoping that the crew may be... Oh, it looks like Holada has blown his engine in the pits.
So it seems.
That's very unfortunate. It looks like Hackman's crew is not wanting to repair the car. So unfortunately, it would seem
Well,
like
the
he
repairs
is...
would not be complete anyway, because I know it from Felix last time that the car doesn't get completely repaired. But maybe you can live with that here, because this is a rather slow in terms of the speed of the turns.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. It looked like they weren't wanting to repair it at all. I think they were back in the garage just having ice cream or something.
Kimi Raikkonen style.
Indeed. So as we are on another yellow, I asked Michal about Indianapolis. What are your thoughts on that event, Alberto?
Well, it will be the event of the year in this series. This is obviously a long season here with 14 races and many different tracks, but everybody knows that the US racing in open wheel racing has always been centered around the Indy 500. And so is the case here at HSO, where we will be having also a real hardware trophy that will be sent worldwide to whoever wins the race. And well, all that surrounds the event is, of course, always something special. The track that gets opened at the beginning of May. Everybody practicing there at the server, watching what lap times the competition is doing, going increasingly fast, and always trying to get that elusive tenth of a second. It makes for a very, very interesting and very tense month. And then, of course, with the combination of the race itself, that will be, well, fantastic in these cars.
And that sounds like quite a prelude to a fantastic event. And I'd assume that you would be hoping for a really good finish there, maybe even a win if the gods smile upon you.
Well, I have an abysmal finish rate, so I don't have many hopes regarding that, but I know I can be competitive because I absolutely suck at road courses, but I can make my way at ovals. I can set up the car, so I hope that having this car, as the Penske is, will at least help me to be in a very competitive position. Whether I am at the finish of the race or not, well, that's something very different.
Okay, and as we have the time, I think there's one more lap of safety car. Yes, indeed, because they have to
the pit entry.
Yeah. So let's go through the field quickly with another round out with I think we have maybe even 15 laps in the books now. But Grant Riddle is in the lead. Second for Rob Swindells. Third for Austin Ogonowski. Fourth for I can't actually see the name at the moment, so we'll have to wait. Martin Lacina, yes, thank you. I don't know which car everyone is driving yet. Yves Placé is in...
That's actually the car from Richard Coxon, who finally couldn't make the event. And it's very impressive what Martin Lacina has been doing with this car without almost any preparation.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Richard Coxon may have shared some setup knowledge for this event, but...
Oh, sorry, no. It's that's the Lavat's car. No, that's not the replacement. It's it's the car that is actually two units behind it. It's Yves Placé, and then David Jacques has the replacement, which anyway, as I said, has been doing an amazing job with this car with so short notice.
I can nothing but agree with you on that. So I think that was... Fifth for Yves Placé. Sixth for Richard Coxon's replacement driver for this event, David Yates. Richard Wilkes is in seventh at the moment, doing a good job in his first road course race, I think, of the whole year, because he hasn't done F1.
So here we come to the hairpin. Critical moment, because this is actually, if you see it, it's a rather not comfortable position for the car in front, because he's coming out of the hairpin and his wheel is completely killed by the safety car, and so happens to the second. That has allowed Austin to get a better run.
Yeah, but Owie is not going to give it up though. Austin runs around outside. This time he's able to hold it. He wasn't able to do so earlier. Well, I may have spoken too soon because...
they're going in parallel there.
Woohoo! Wow, some great racing right there. Yeah, some great racing. Nice respect from both of the drivers, allowing each other to have room to work. Going through the horseshoe. On to Seaside. Looks like there's a bit of a battle a bit further behind as well. Well, David Yates was going to look for a run, but he wasn't able to do so. Here's another battle between Wilks and Peter Blom for positions in the top 10. I think David Junt is holding 10th.
Yeah, that's
up
the
in
battle that was right in front of me before I had the accident, because that's Richard Wilks, who is followed by Peter Blom and David Jump. They both managed to squeeze through the herb in front of me. That's why I know the problem that you had there. But it was interesting because Richard Wilks wasn't having a lot of pace there. He was acting a bit like hindering the progress from Peter Blom and David Junt. And now he seems to be going a bit quicker. But these three are in for a race-long battle, I assume.
would certainly look like it, because Junt had a bit of a look in turn 3. Looking at these three, would sort of seem like this is not a 95 lap race, this is a 10 lap sprint right here. And very sideways for both Blom and Junt coming in onto Seaside, down at the penthouse. And it would sort of seem like David Junt is very good in the opening half of the lap, and then he's a bit worse off than the other two in this part of the track.
He might have less downforce. His chassis not be as well tuned.
Oh,
But
someone
he's
is up
now
there.
attacking him.
Yeah, and going through actually.
Yeah, well, Peter Blom is doing the same with Richard Wilks, but
Oh dearie me, both are spun. Oh, that's very unfortunate.
yeah,
Oh, don't hit
he
the
was too
wall.
optimistic there.
Aye.
Oh, and he lost the front wing.
That's very
It was
unfortunate.
unfortunate for him, but somehow poetic justice, because he was the main culprit of the incident.
Well, yes, and that would probably bring out a safety car as well, with two cars standing stationary on the track.
Do we have safety car? I think people are still racing. The incident was quick.
No, it seems like there's a safety car, because they are going just about 100 kph. Down Seaside, they are usually going 250-ish, coming to the end of that straight. So that's very unfortunate, but luckily both were able to get going again, although both have lost quite a bit of time and positions. Wilks, I think, is down in 10th, so he didn't actually lose out that much in that incident. I think he lost a couple of, maybe 3 positions.
Yeah, to Jan Kowalski and David Junt, who were right behind him, and also to David Sabre, who managed to slip by.
There comes Peter Blom into the pits, so he will be the big loser out of this incident. It's nice to see that Juha Boos and Della Cella is still in the race, although a bit further behind. It's still good to see. Would you possibly have seen what happened to Jason White, by the way? I know he was in the low teens early in the race, but then when I went back another time, he was down in 21st at the time I checked.
I don't know. There seems to be no damage in his car, so probably he just missed the braking point or whatever. Maybe he had to maneuver or anything that caused him to lose that many possessions.
Well,
So it seems we have in the forum some more reactions, and it seems that Dana Schurer was also taken out by the shunt that was Mikula and me. He's not happy with that. She's saying that it's a bit too early for those kind of moves.
Well, she may have a point in that, in regards to how long the race is, but racing is ongoing through the whole race, so...
Yeah, I think she refers that we were maybe... No, with cold tires we hadn't been... Well, I don't know, maybe yeah.
Well, as you said at the time, it's one of those things. And I know some drivers were saying that it could become a yellow fest, this one, and would look like
It could be. It was when we did 98 here some time ago.
It would seem so far
It's
it has
somehow to be expected, but
a little. It may be like the early races in the 73 season. Halfway through the race, everyone who may be a bit more out of control than others are out of the race, and there's green flag running.
you could say that having so many opponents eliminated but by crashes is a bit unrealistic. But I was just looking this evening at some statistics, historic statistics, and for example, in the USAC Championship in the 70s, not in 73 but in 74, there was a Trenton race where only 4 cars finished from the 20 that started the race.
Wow.
It was like in Monaco, 19.
Yeah,
Right.
you mean the year that Olivier Prix won?
Yes, yes. It was this.
Yes.
It was a very crazy race.
It is.
Damon Hill ended in blown engine.
Yeah, but at least in Monaco, the Formula One can continue racing more or less. The track is usually not closed or the race not stopped. Sometimes when the accident is actually very bad, of course it does, but normally it doesn't. While in turn here, people are treated to a bit of a parade behind the safety car, which is boring as hell. Throws away your concentration, and also is bound to cause more incidents as people touch each other when they get distracted fiddling with the hood or whatever.
There is good strategy driving slowly and don't destroy the car.
Yeah, I can tell you that when we did 98, at some point in the session, I decided that I wouldn't bother qualifying. What I did was start dead last and wait till the track was clear and then racing. And I got some decent finishes by that.
And I also noticed while we are talking, De La Cella and Jan Kowalski has entered the pits for, I think, their first pit stops of the evening. So that's a strategy call right there. But it looks like De La Cella, I think it is, has lost quite a bit of time with that, so... well, no, sorry, I thought the leaders were in the last section, but they are still in the horseshoe section.
I was thinking about the effect that this situation may have in the championship, because unless I'm mistaken, both Grant Riddle and Austin Ogonowski didn't finish the previous race at Phoenix, which means that while I finished second and won't score here, and in the case of the winner from Phoenix, that's Alan Forster, he's now in 14th position. So maybe if he gets up to some points paying position, he's able to keep the lead of the championship, but it's quite uncertain now.
Forster was driving behind me before my disconnection. I was very surprised by this situation.
Well, we have green flag yet again. Ogonowski is challenging for first position, and right behind him there's a bit of a battle, and for fifth position. Ogonowski and
Martin Lacina, he managed to arrest the car in the end, but it was really close.
side by side between Lacina and Swindells, and Lacina gets the position. Oh, but Swindells fights back down into Michelob, and he looks like he's passed, and he's back up into third position. Oh, that's a great exchange. Not quite as great.
Controlled by Martin there.
Certainly. Not quite as great.
He was a bit optimistic in the braking point on cold towers, but he managed to arrest the car in time, and he did then some move, even if he lost the position. That was some precision driving there.
Yep. What I was going to say was that it wasn't quite as great as the PTCC race last week, where the battle for second and third had, I think, in the end 9 position changes over 2 laps. But that was a great exchange either way. Good clean fighting. Masina is trying to unsettle Swindells by the looks of things, sitting in his right-hand mirror going into turn 1, but nothing comes of that. It looks like I think
On the rear, Kowalski just pulled a fantastic overtaking move on Peter Blom.
Let's see if we can catch that on the broadcast here.
And probably people who have pit now are on a different strategy, because we see some people that were higher in the standings are now in the rear of the race.
I notice Wilkes and Forster are close to the back, and Jason White is quite far behind. While Jan Kowalski is making his way up the field, as you mentioned, getting by Peter Blom into turn 1 on this lap. His next target will certainly be Michael Drechler, which I think he will be right behind in maybe a couple of laps.
Well, Pascal Mikula, who seems to have stood in track, is in front of David Jacks. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, and he is trying to get on top of Steve Parker, who's right ahead of him in his green. I think he's driving one of the Lolas. Oh, as Parker gets very sideways. Holy mom!
Yeah,
nice save.
Very lucky for Pascal, because he got there an overtaking for free.
Yeah, and a good save from Steve Parker there. Bit of a commentator's curse, saying how he was right ahead of him at the time. I know Steve has been struggling in the F1 Championship, but it's good to see him still running here and running relatively strong. I mean, he doesn't seem to be too far off the pace here. Oh, and Jan Kowalski is right behind Michael Drechler here. So this could become a great exchange at any moment here. Drechler takes a defensive line into the hairpin. Owen parks the bus. Pardon the expression, since it's Formula cars we're running here, but Owen up ahead there's side-by-side action as well. So this is a great position to watch this from. Here comes Blom up the inside of Michael Drechler. Doesn't look like he'll be able to pull it off though.
And on the front, David Jacks rid of Steve Parker. And the top of the race is unchanged. Grant Riddle doing a great work with the poor Lola T87. And Austin Ogonowski is not far behind. I would say that he is somehow a bit controlling the race.
Sorry, there's a dive from Peter Blom going into Michelob, and he was able to get by. That was a great opportunistic pass right there. If somewhat aggressive maybe. But a bit up ahead, Yakes and Mikola is going at it. It looks like Yakes has a bit more pace than Mikola, at least in this part of the track. Going to the hairpin and onto Shoreline Drive.
These two are regular.
Oh, Mikola sideways!
Oh. Yeah, he was really trying to give the full throttle there to get a run on Pascal, and he was a bit too optimistic also. Those two, I was saying, are regulars from the Formula 1 Championship, so they are not fighting there exactly, because it's David who is leading the championship by far, and who is usually very, very much in front in the races, so no, not many chances there for Pascal usually.
Yep, and Kowalski is trying to get by Parker now, as Mikola did a couple of laps ago. And just up ahead we can see the battle brewing for, I think that would be 9th and 10th position maybe, something like that.
It's 9th Pascal and 10th David at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. Here comes Blom up the inside of Steve Parker into Penthouse and gets by. And into the left, Steve Parker is trying to get back at Peter Blom, but he isn't able to do so. And I think Blom will sail away right here. See, it looks like at the front of the field it's quite spread out, although Vidal and Ogonowski is fairly close to one another still. Apart from that, there seems to
Yes,
be...
they are. Ogonowski is always in a constant distance behind. He's not trying to press Grant Riddle, but he's also not lagging behind, which leads me to think that Ogonowski is at point just controlling the race. As long as he's not getting pressure from the guy behind, he will be probably satisfied to let Grant lead the race.
Definitely be a possibility, and I'd assume he's also getting a bit of a draft down the straight, so that should help his fuel economy just a little bit, and especially
Yes, exactly.
his engine health.
His Porsche is not the most reliable engine, which means that he likely will be happy to go at the slowest possible speed that keeps him in that position without having to turn up the boost and risk any damage to the engine.
And I think it was, wasn't it Andretti who said that the best way to win is drive at the slowest possible speed while still getting the win or something like that.
At least it had been Niki Lauda, but I stood corrected in the last race. I think it was Jack Brabham.
Ah,
They
yeah.
told me.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up.
It's easy when it comes
Oh,
to
we have a spinner. Ray Riddle has had a bit of a spin coming out of Michelab, and here comes the guys behind, Yakes and Owen. One of the guys hit the wall, and we have a safety car as well. I think it was Mikola who... Oh, Mikola has a spin.
only spin.
Everything is
Was there
happening
contact
right
with the
here.
wall?
I think Mikola may have hit the wall just a little bit, getting up the inside of Ray Riddle after his spin. Though I could be wrong. Now it looks like he has some kind of trouble because he outbroke himself without actually locking the wheel right there. I suppose we'll see him when they get back to green racing again. But for now we have another safety car. I think, at least. Yep, we have the safety cars out on track. So let's take a moment to have a quick chat with Jason White, I think. So if you want to follow or not, we'll let you choose. But let's have a quick chat with Jason during this yellow.
Channel switched.
Good evening, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going quite well. Maybe a few too many yellows, but you can't be too picky. It looks like you are having a quiet race, if one can put it that way.
Well, not really. I had an incident under yellow actually when we were coming back to green. I ran over the back of Juha Boss's right rear tire, and yeah, it damaged the suspension on the left-hand side just a little bit, but nothing too serious. I hope his car's okay. But it was a situation of we were coming to the hairpin, and it was just an accordion effect, everybody coming to a stop. And now that everyone's had a chance to get used to it, everyone's being really careful under yellow in the hairpin. But it was quite a surprise. I came around the corner and everyone was dead stopped.
I can imagine that being a surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I noticed you were in the low teens and then you were back to 21st. So
well, now I'm back up to 9th simply because everyone decided to pit. But I was in the top 10 before, but I blew it on a restart, and I could tell I wasn't going to make turn 1, so I took the escape road, threw it in reverse, and then got back where I was supposed to be on the road.
Okay, so that's you did. I think Michael Drechsler did the same thing on lap 1 of the race.
Yeah, I mean, thank God for those escape roads. If they weren't there, I don't know what we would do. but I was really relieved that I was able to throw it in reverse, get the car righted, and rejoin without triggering a yellow. I was really worried that I was going to trigger a yellow simply because I went down an escape road, but that didn't happen. So I was really relieved about that.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So with this bit of damage that you are running with at the moment, do you think you will look to get up further up the field with pace, or will you just try to hang on until the end
I'm just
and see what comes?
I mean, the fact that I'm running 8th right now is kind of artificial. I mean, I'm going to have to come into the pits. In fact, I've only got 60 liters left. I'm debating whether I should come in or just gamble that there's going to be another yellow. My instincts tell me there'll be another yellow, so I think I'm going to stay out and just keep the track position for now.
Okay. Well, I think that's another one peels off. So I wish you good luck, and if we get another chance to chat, I'll jump in with you yet again.
All right, cool. Take care. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Yep. Good luck.
Bye.
Channel switched.
When we change it in car.
So that was Jason White having had a bit of issues on restarts on the yellows, but running somewhat consistently despite some damage to his car. Noticed you or heard the ending of a discussion between you guys. Share to join that with us all, or share that with us all.
Yes, no problem. We were talking about the incoming event in the Nürburgring on the 13th of April. The last weekend of this month, we will be having that incredible event at the Nürburgring, the 1,000 kilometers. And we're very much looking forward. Michal was only a bit cautious with the idea of having discus problems. But let's see if we get green flag here and the race continues soon.
We can certainly hope so, and it could be noted, I don't know if you said it or not, or I couldn't quite hear it, but it'll be the full layout, the Nordschleife, for that event on the 30th of April. Not only the Nürburgring circuit as such. That will be, as you say, very interesting. Fortunately, I don't think it'll be broadcasted, but there's still a few cars to pick up if anyone watching would like to partake in that.
So another lap on the yellow. It seems the safety car didn't head for the pits.
It would seem like it's maybe
And
there's
look
some.
at Juha Boss. Look at Juha Boss. He's coming out of the pits quickly in front of the safety car. That will help him not losing that lap.
Oh, it's just about though. It's good to see that he's still running with that stock block V8. Beautiful sounding engine, that.
So it's interesting that he had to pit, because the main advantage of that car is that he is likely able to finish this race with just one pit stop. We are, I don't think, not anywhere near the half of the race.
Well, it could be that he's planned for a two-stop strategy. I think he's just on the brink of that, 28 laps in. So it could be that he will head for the pits around lap 55 to 60 maybe. And that will be his last pit stop of the event.
Well, with so many yellows, I'm pretty sure he should be able to have done it with a single pit stop. It's interesting that he has done it so early, because the tactic with this car, actually the only possible, is to stay out in all the yellows and gain track positions always.
Well, maybe he knows something we don't in regards to the strategy for this car, but I suppose only time will tell. Jan Kowalski was able to bring it up to, I think it was sixth position in the end at Phoenix, so it's definitely possible to get good finishes in the car.
So we're on the green again, and let's see how Austin Ibañez first with Rob Swindell, who is now right behind him.
Oh, right behind there, David Yates is looking up the inside of Reiredal and gets the
Nice
position.
one, he got the position.
And now
Yes,
Ray
he
has
did.
to look out for Peter Blom. Oh, sorry, Jan Kowalski and Peter Blom. As Kowalski is coming up the inside. Very close between them, but both get through. Here comes Kowalski up the inside again. Same corner as he passed.
Whoa, he really
another one.
understeered against that wall. That was very close for him. On what is right now very likely good tires still.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens to Grant Vidal, who was leading the race, so to speak, comfortably, and he decided to take the gamble and pit. We will be seeing how this works out for him, because if there is no yellow soon, I don't think that these guys will be able to stay out very much at this point. They won't have fuel for many other laps. So this gamble could actually go very well for Grant.
I suppose we'll see how that all works out later on in the race, as that's a big gamble to take, but as you say, it could very well work. Looks like
He's now from behind pit block, seems to be quicker even on the full fuel tank. And right in front of Peter is his own father, Ray Riddle. We have father and son here, and it's somehow a pity that they didn't get the Andretti's cars in both cases, because that would have been an amazing repeat of real life.
yeah, right behind them, David Junt and Yus Placé is having a tight battle as well.
Well, there's always going to be some spectacle where David Junt is. And Yves Placé is no slouch either, so Ross Windels is meanwhile trying to put a bit of pressure on Austin Ogonowski, but so far I don't see that Austin is much faced by that. He is not looking as if suffering from the pressure.
It would seem like he's very good and consistent, but I think Martin Lassina, I think it was David was fighting with, has had some kind of issue. There's almost looked like there was a safety car, but they are still on full tilt, aren't they?
It's here in the twisted section that Ross Windels is much closer to Ogonowski, while Austin gets a very good run out of the hairpin and is able to, despite the low power in the Porsche, is usually able to make some distance with Ross Windels. And now do we have safety car?
Yeah, it would seem we have a safety car. I think it was Martin Lassina who...
They reduced the speed considerably, yes.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens with the leader, because this could be the occasion when Austin dives into that for the stop.
Yep. And I also noticed that Wilkes and I think it was Placé was in the pits.
So does Rob Swindell. We have the second place going into the pits.
So that's interesting.
Well, what's interesting is that Bonowski is staying out there. For sure, there are many incidents in this race, and you can expect more yellow flags. But still, he must have been running with very low boost, which maybe explains he wasn't repeating that kind of difference in lap times that he was having when he was doing quali laps.
It could definitely be the case, and it could also be that he's running to a fuel strategy, so he's wanting to stay out right up until there's only fumes left of fuel in his fuel tank, and then he'll jump into the pits.
That's of course a big gamble, because you never know when it's going to happen. If you don't have the flexibility of being able to pit when a yellow arises, and you are forced to do it on the green, then of course you're running a risk there, because it really hurts if you have to pit while everybody is running full throttle there on the green flag.
Also interesting sort of to see that the biggest passing opportunity wouldn't seem to be, well, it is turn 1, but it isn't in the penthouse where you and Mikla had your incident, but it instead seems to be at Michalov, the sort of tightening right-hander going into the horseshoe section. Which I would have felt is too much of a gamble to be passing in, but it seemed
So
like...
right, that is also in the.
Well, we have a lot of people in the pits. We have Jason White finally pitting after staying out in the last yellow. Ray Dahl, as you say, Alan Forster is in the pits, and I think there's also Richard Wilkes was also in the pits.
And Grant Riddle has been able to move up to 5th position in this situation, which means he will very likely have a shot at joining the head of the race. And this of course could hurt Austin very much, because if his rival, who has already pit, is that close behind him, then unless Austin is able to find another yellow to pit, that will be quite decisive in this race.
Could definitely be. I don't know, have Yakes pitted yet?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure because I joined as a spectator and I'm not getting the full HUD. I'm not sure. I can't even tell the lap times from people.
Okay. Yeah, it would seem like he has had a pit stop some, maybe. He had a 2-minute. No, that's in the yellow zone. Well, he had a 2-minute in the yellow zone, so I'd assume that was a pit stop, and that's 10 was about 7 laps ago. So let's go through the field, as almost everyone have pitted. Could quite lose the thing. Soganowski we know have some pitted, and he's in the lead. Yakes may have pitted or may have not, but he's in second. Peter Blom is definitely the first one to have pitted, and he's in... Jan Kowalski is in third, and he has definitely pitted. Peter Blom is in fourth. Ridal fifth, so he's lost out a little bit, pitting on the green, but still in the top 5. 6th is Yves Placé, 7th for David Junt, 8th for David Saber, 9th for Martin Lasina, and 10th for Rob Swindell. So Michael Drechler is a bit out of position after his lap 1 incident. 11th for Ray Redal, 12th for Alan Forster, and then a lap down in 13th is Juha Boss. Jason White is still in the pits. Did he forget to turn off damage or something then, since he's still in the pits? Maybe, but...
Might be. Maybe it's a long repair. The suspension, of course, is much longer. And I can tell you that Richard Wilkes, put some very accurate values there. We took a chrono and saw how much it took to replace one of the suspension arms in Michael Andretti's car exactly at this race at Long Beach. So we had a fairly good idea of the repair times in them.
It's good to hear that there's those kind of possibilities to make it as realistic as possible, although I think Jason White might not be as happy with that at the moment. Yeah, Noganowski gets a good jump. He gets a good jump. Yakes and Kowalski behind.
And Dustin, as we saw in the last race, they have lots of experience with yellow flag or American Rose racing, and they are doing very good starts there. It's very hard to be even close to them. They can time it very precisely.
Yeah.
And there's an accident, Martin Lasina.
That's very unfortunate.
I can see it still in the replay, sorry. And he maneuvered to miss David Saber, and he hit the barriers. Do we have
it's a
safety car
shame.
again?
Yeah. Well, he was very lucky to not clean up David Saber then, or he did a good job of avoiding him, maybe I should say, because that would seem to be what he tried, and unfortunately there was not enough room for him to then avoid the barriers.
It's really a yellow flag festival.
Yeah, unfortunately, but that's sort of American racing, the street courses for you. Cautions, speed cautions, especially around the street course.
And let's see if Austin goes into the pits or not. No,
he went by this time around, yeah. Maybe he goes in next time around.
This has much better fuel mileage than the street cars of the same make of engine.
It's a big shame that Martin crashed. He quit the Formula One season because of not finishing the races, and try this card to find a way how to finish the races.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Sometimes you are in one of those unlucky strikes, and there's not a lot that you can do except relax and wait until it goes away.
But he was doing a great job up until that point. He was in the top 10 and being very, very competitive, even running in 4th and 5th for quite a few laps before he went into the pits. So I think as soon as he gets out of that that streak of unfortunate retirements and so he'll, as Ogonowski goes by the looks of things into the pits, and looks like everyone else is following him into the pits as well, or at least quite a few. But I think when Dassina gets out of that streak, he'll definitely be up for top 10 finishes and possibly even wins this series. As Ogonowski has a very quick pit stop.
Ooh,
just about manages to avoid. Always he has to avoid another car in the form of David Yates.
It was quite risky there.
Yeah. Well, I suppose as long as it doesn't take.
You don't have a speed limit, as it was in real life in these races. But then again, drivers that can die.
Yeah. And I suppose as long as it doesn't take anyone out while doing that, that's sort of okay. It looks
I think we've seen far worse moves elsewhere.
Yeah, it looks like we have what is that now? We have 11 cars on the lead lap. Alan Foster is the last. No, sorry, Juha Boos is the last car on the lead lap, I think. No, he's actually planted in the field, so he's 1 lap behind, just. If everyone goes into the pits to fill up here, he'll be on the lead lap, so we have 11 cars on the lead lap for sure at the moment. And we have Peter Blom in the lead.
And what I'd like to know is how was Juha Boos able to put up at 22.05 hours in the forum, saying 20 laps in and I've been hit 3 times during a 4-course yellow, the last one killed the suspension, while he was driving, and he's still in the...
Well, maybe he wrote it on his phone or something, while during a yellow. But that's very...
I don't know.
That's very brave, if he did that, and a bit unrealistic, as they...
Well, not exactly unrealistic. Though I thought it was more a future of the people, of the drivers here in Spain. Not long ago I saw a guy who was texting while driving, which is, so to speak, more or less normal here. The thing is, the guy was driving a motorbike.
Whoa. That's a bit playing bit of playing with your life, isn't it? A bit unnecessary playing with your life.
Incredible. And he was not speaking, he was listening.
That is, yeah. Kids, don't do that. I think we can say pretty categorically. Zero, 38, we are about 7 laps from
Is
halfway.
there any time limit for the race?
Sorry, what was the question?
No, I don't think so. Not sure, but I don't think so. We'll have to look at it in the rules. I'll give you in a moment. But it's a good question. There's nothing in the rules about that. Good thing that the race starts at 2 p.m. local time because those cars don't have lights.
It will be very interesting if they finish in the dark.
Well, racing with these cars in the dark, yeah, certainly would be interesting. They might get even overtaken by the guy who is texting in the motor.
Yes, a small possibility.
So is Peter Blom right now leading? I think he didn't pit. Grant Riddle, who did a pit stop like maybe 8 to 10 laps ago, but most of those have been yellow, which means the fuel consumption must have been quite negligible. Yves Placé in third position with the Jet. The Jet has a notorious very good fuel economy in that engine. And then it's David Junt, and David Saber rounds up the top 5 here. Rob Swindels, who did his pit stop not long ago, is there in 6th position. And Ray Riddle, who also did his pit stop, is in 7th in Austin Ogonowski. The 3 of them did the pit stop quite closely, same as David Jackson, Jan Kowalski, whom Austin was able to overtake in that daring maneuver with Swoop. And then come the rest of the people who were behind, and either because they didn't pit or had pit earlier, are bunched up now from Alan Forster to the guys behind.
Yeah, and I would assume there's a green flag here. There is indeed. Oh, and jumping out from behind is Grant Riddle, so he goes up into the lead. Peter Blom was sleeping right there, but Peter Blom is coming back. Going for the outside, but Grant is very late on the brakes, but looks like he made it. Actually, Peter Blom was very slow through the opening turn right there.
More than slipping, I think it was a matter of what I told you before, that the safety car is not doing any favor to the guy who is in pole position.
Very much. That could very much be the case indeed. My apologies for not taking that into consideration, but it would seem like...
we will see now how Austin Ogonowski is able to deal with the traffic. That would be interesting, because at this point Grant Riddle has the free track in front of him, which means he's going very quickly, while Austin is right now struggling to overtake Juha Boss. He will likely do so at the end of this short straight in the rear. Yes, he is. He got it cleanly, but all this is hurting a lot his lap times, and that means that the difference between both is increasing thanks to Grant being able to go much quicker.
Oh, an almost contact between Ogonowski and Yates right there. Yates.
Yeah, David is much in the same situation. He needs to get rid of the cars in front and start getting into a rhythm. Because when they have to begin, this increasing distance may play a role.
Running where it did was Michael Drechler, who I think is a lap behind everyone behind him, but obviously. Åcerclinth makes a mistake, Yates is up the inside. Oh, he doesn't go for it, there's not quite enough room. This is as someone is coming around the outside of David Yates, that's Peter Blom, I think. Oh, Blom and Ogonowski. Oh, Kowalski and Ogonowski.
That was a bit optimistic there. That was a bit optimistic. He moved Oski to the outside. There was some contact, though probably not with match.
Hopefully not. But that's very fortunate for David Yates, who gets up past. But Kowalski is looking around the outside right there.
That's exactly the same that happened to me with Karl Mikula. Kowalski just braced David Jack's rear wheel.
Ogonowski looks up the inside, sorry.
Ooh.
Looks up the inside and gets, I think he gets by Kowalski right here. Possibly. Actually not, they're side by side.
Yeah, Ogonowski gets a great run. He's with throttle control, and that's the reason why he got that head start into the
Kowalski's up.
Main straight.
Yeah, and Kowalski's up the inside, trying to hold on the outside in 2, but he's able to do so. Wow,
Yeah,
that's...
this is a section where you can place the car as well. There is only a single line there.
Yeah, looking very close. And would sort of seem like...
And Ray Riddle is acting there as a barrier for everybody.
Yeah, maybe trying to help his son, who's currently leading the race, if I'm not mistaken. But here comes David Yates looking up the inside, down C side. Yep, he should be able to get by here.
He does so.
Just about.
His turn.
Oh dear me, there's contact. Oh, looks like Ogonowski almost had a Jason White right there. Who is still up the inside, gives a bit of a nudge to Ray.
They are not racing, they are playing pinball there.
Yeah. Well, I think Ogonowski may have been a bit rattled by Kowalski's move earlier on. Now he's playing for keeps. As Kowalski looks to have a lot more straight line speed than Ogonowski and goes up the inside into turn 1. So this clearly can't have been what Ogonowski was hoping for when he pitted out of sync with everyone else. But it looks like those around him went for... Oh, as Kowalski tries to go up the inside of Ray in the horseshoe. As Ogonowski is up the inside. Oh, there's contact with the wall. Both of them in the wall. Oh, both of them are out, I think. At least Kowalski is in the wall hard, loses his rear wing. And it looks like there's suspension damage to Ogonowski's car.
Is totally damaged.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunately terminal damage by the looks of things. He's all over the place. Yeah, looks like he's out unfortunately. But they were indeed playing for keeps, unfortunately. But it all started quite a ways back, because it started in the horseshoe section. This incident itself, when Kowalski was trying to get by Ray Riddle, but wasn't able to do so, got held up, and Ogonowski tried around the inside, but there just wasn't enough room.
Flag again.
Yeah, I think that's understandable with a rear wing and possibly some suspension parts laying on the track after that crash. Oh, and it looks like Kowalski's crew haven't repaired his car yet. Oh, and now he finds out when he spins in turn 2. Well, that's very unfortunate for both of them.
Yeah, without the rear wing.
Well, that hands a great opportunity to Grant Ridaldo, who's in the lead, and I think the quickest guy still running in this race. Although one could argue that Peter Blom is up there as well, along with Classe and Junt. And Swindells, but he's been a bit off the pace in the last few laps. Oh, as Grant Ridal goes into the pits, as does see, I can't actually go that way, so I'll have to turn that. as does Peter Blom. I think someone else was in the pits. David Sabers and Alan Forster is also in the pits. That's definitely
The Grand Riddle coming out of the pits now.
yeah, actually behind
Current
Peter Blom.
position. Behind Peter Blom. Yves Placé on the lead, followed by David Junt. And let's see, I don't remember having seen Yves pit. He surely has pit already, but I don't remember when it was.
I think he's about 15 to 20 laps into his stint, maybe a bit more now with the green flag running that was, but yeah, probably around 20 to 25 laps ish. I think he will be in his fuel run here.
This is a bit like situation in one of those Star Wars movies, the vacation of what was theoretically part 1, when they are meditating there, and all of a sudden the gate opens and they start fighting again furiously. This is more or less what this race looks like. Everybody here staying calm, keeping it cool under yellow, and all of a sudden, bang! They go, they take the swords out. There's absolutely no mercy.
So I think that the race will finish only 8 cars.
In the real race?
Here, now.
Ah, no, in the real race some more was finished. But in this one we will see. The people have to cool down. I mean, it's unfortunate to a certain extent that Long Beach is so early in the season, because people are still not probably completely used to these cars, to racing them and to being close to each other. So I'm betting that if this race would be one of the last of the season, there wouldn't be that many incidents. But in any case, we will see that, because we have another street course at Tamiami. That's the last race of the season. So if people are able to fight close to each other, then it will show there.
I think the problem is the tires are cold and didn't warm enough in the yellow pages.
And at this point, there is also another big problem. Some cars are with half a full tank, other cars are with a full tank, and some maybe with very, very last drops of fuel, which means they have very different braking points, very different cornering speeds, and you don't really know if the car in front is going completely at top speed or not. So it's easy here that you make mistakes or that you hit another car because of that. So look at this Placé. He's giving some room to the safety car because he doesn't want to suffer the problem that I told you before. He is a very smart fox. Look at that. Yeah.
And he gets a good run off the hairpin.
Yeah, only the good was a very powerful engine, and that's what making him suffer in the straight. But you see, that's what's up when you're a veteran. Yves was very aware of the problem with the safety car, going into the pits and killing the run that you had.
Oh, just
He
behind.
wasn't going to let himself be surprised by that.
Yeah, and just behind, Mikola missed the turn 1 apex by a country mile, more or less. Rob Swindells is
Well,
by...
he could have missed my some laps ago instead of that.
Yeah. It looks like Mikola is actually a lap behind, so maybe he should let his... I think that's at least I think that's his teammate in Rob Swindells by, but so far he hasn't, so that's left a big gap between Junt and Swindells. And we have... No, sorry, that was not yellow. Not yellow. That was a bit of a lag on the server.
So David Jacks retired with suspension damage.
Oh dear me, then that was a safety car call. See if we can find out what's happened to David. Maybe just the end of it. Turn 1, yet again, would look like. As he was going up the inside of Michael Drechler. Broke very late and just couldn't get the car stopped. He just couldn't get the car stopped, and unfortunately Michael Drechler made some contact with his rear end. So that's very unfortunate, but I think he sort of cracked under the pressure, didn't he?
Maybe.
Well, the pressure
the only positive thing we can say at this point is that the yellow flags that have a reputation for not working well in our factor, well, they are working fine.
And the winner is this car.
So we have the Domino Pizza car in the wall. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the replay now. Yes, that's David Jacks. The incident is coming now live. Because I'm watching the broadcast at some points to see.
Has the safety car enough fuel for a whole race?
That's a good question. I'd assume they have an extra fuel delivery system for the safety car in the case that it doesn't have enough fuel. Looking at how the race is going so far, they will probably need that kind of fuel delivery to the safety car. We are now about halfway through the race. So let's see if we can go through the standings as they stand, with this yellow flag keeping them somewhat constant. So Yves Placé is in the lead at the moment, but I think he has 2 more stops to make in this race. Maybe 1, depending on how many yellow flags we get. David Junt is in the same situation in second. So Rob Swindells is third, but I think he's quite low on fuel as well at the moment. Ray Redal is fourth. I think he's a bit better off with fuel. Fifth for Peter Blom, who's having a sort of quiet race. He pitted very recently. Grant Ridal is in sixth, and he pitted at the same time as Jan Kowalski. Seventh is David Saber. He too pitted around that time in the last yellow flag. A lap down, or maybe more now, is Juha Boos in his stock block Chevy. Ninth is Jan Kowalski. He too is a lap or 2 down, now with the rear wing, but probably some suspension damage to his car after that heavy hit with the wall. David Yates is out, so that would make Pascal Mikla sit in 10th, I think. A few laps down. Jason White is 11th, another lap or so down, I'd assume. Richard Wilkes is right behind Jason White. I don't know if that's for position or not. Could be a lap or so between them. He's in 12th, I'd assume. 13th actually. So my apologies. And in the pits is Michael Drechler, and Alan Forster is also in the pits. Actually, Alan Forster is quite a few laps down now, so I'd assume he has had some kind of issue, which I haven't seen. The same goes for Richard Wilkes. And Michael Drechler was in the pits, and Oganowski, Lucina Parker. Actually, Steve Parker has retired, and I didn't catch that either, unfortunately.
No, it happened already many laps ago.
Yes, I just didn't notice that he unfortunately retired.
And if the race would end like this, then David Jant would be the new championship leader, I believe.
since he scored a few points in the opening race and is the best placed of those who finished that race.
Yes, because David Sauber, who also scored some points, is way behind.
Yeah.
While Alan Forster is even more behind. I'm out of the race. Jason Klitsch didn't race today. Dana Shure is also out of the race. So the best positioned ones were David Sauber, who finished 5th, and David Junt, who finished 6th. There's also Jason White, who was 7th at this race, and Jan Kowalski, who was 8th. Those are still here in the race, same as I believe Grant Riddle is still in the race.
He is indeed.
Yes,
He's
he
looking
is.
to try and win.
Yeah, but the best placed is obviously is Placé.
Yeah. There's still a lap to go behind the safety car.
Sorry, I mean David Jan from those that finished the race in Phoenix.
Apologies if me moving my headphones around came through that.
So let's see if this is the final lap under yellow.
I believe it should be.
Everybody getting already antsy.
Which is somewhat understandable, but one could have hoped that they'd be able to calm down just a little bit after all the situations that has occurred during the race.
We'll see if Yves is able to put again the same trick. The restart.
Looks like he's trying.
Trying to put some heat in the rear because he's very conscious of the lack of traction there. So is of course David John.
And past the pit at the safety car. Yeah. Good jump yet again. Nice big gap. Shouldn't allow Junt tiniest bit of an opportunity, but behind us that's too wide.
It's like a rocket.
Yeah, I think Rob may have made a mistake in coming out of the hairpin. Oh, but Ray Riddle makes a mistake in the turn 1, straddles all the curbs, and Rob Swindell runs around outside in turn 3. Great move. Very good awareness from Ray to not run wide.
If you don't have a clean exit coming out of that turn 1. That's where it shows who has right full throttle control. Peter Blom is putting some rear pressure on Jan Kowalski. Kowalski on Der Blom. Even if his car should be still damaged from the incident with Ogonowski.
He should have, but maybe he had luck and just hit it straight with the rear end, so that he didn't pick up any suspension damage. So the crash structure took it instead.
He could have had also the unfrequent but lucky situation of having got a hit first on one side and on the other, and the car being symmetric at still.
That could also be a possibility indeed. Kowalski is really late on the brakes into turn 1, runs a little bit deep, and Grant Riddle is right behind trying to take advantage. When Grant is looking up the inside into Michelob, backs out of it. Good awareness from Kowalski, leaving a bit of a gap just in case Riddle went for it.
Well, the trajectory from which Grant was coming was really odd.
We haven't seen passes there before. Oh, Peter Blom slows down a lot in a straight line. I wonder what happened there. That looked very strange. Maybe missed a gear. But either way, Jan Kowalski is through. Grant Rudal is trying to look back. Oh dear me! Definitely looks like Peter Blom is having some kind of issue.
Well, at least he didn't hit the wall and give us another yellow.
Yeah, would definitely seem like there's some kind of issue for him.
Let's see if they spread out a bit now.
Oh, actually, Kowalski is a lap down. That's why he backed off. My apologies.
Because in this situation, that's another side effect of the yellows. It gives more spectacle in that it bunches up people, but then again, of course, it doesn't give the drivers enough time to settle into the rhythm, and it causes that people with very different paces are put together, bunched together, causing traffic, and then it's it's a bit of a lottery going through all of that if you have the quickest car.
That's definitely true. It looks like Mikola is not moving out of the way here, so this is bunching up Kowalski and Ray Ridal, and presumably Grant Ridal will be in here any moment as well.
But Pascal is clearly 1 or laps down, because in the standings it's Ray is 4th, while Pascal is 10th, so I don't really know what he's doing blocking.
Well, it would seem like he has good straight line speed.
Pascal must have...
Oh, very fortunate that they were able to avoid contact, but still that's bad for Ray Ridal, who was having a good run.
Ray's car has taken a pretty big hit. It seems to be waving and going very slow.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch.
He braked too late. His move was not correct. Pascal Mikula must have been seeing blue flags all around. I don't really know why he didn't let him by, because if you're seeing the blue flags, it was obvious that at the end of that straight, it's the perfect place to let the other car by.
Yeah, and here goes Pascal Mikula deep in the braking zone for Penthouse. That's very unfortunate for Ray. He was having a really good race up until that point, but has definitely suspension damage to the left front of his car. Oh, we can barely get it stopped. Barely get it round the hairpin, actually. I thought he wanted to get into the pits, but he didn't. I don't think he dared to, with David Saber right behind him. So that sort of broke up that battle.
If he has to do another lap like that. Maybe he's trying to struggle to stop the car in the pits and not cause another yellow.
That could definitely be the reason that he stayed out as well. It looks like Yves Basset isn't able to shake off David Junta for the lead either, so the battle here could come good in a few laps time.
Good power slide there by Yves.
Yeah, and Robert Swindells is right.
He seems to be really in control.
Yeah, it looks like he really has the car set up well, and as you've said, drives really well.
Right, Ridal is continuously hitting walls. He's probably trying just to make it to the pits and park it.
Could definitely be the case.
He's nursing the car and hopefully willing to spare us a yellow. He will be going into the pits now. No, he isn't. He isn't. He's trying to continue into the race. Well, with the lap times he's doing, that's not probably the wisest decision.
Well, it could also be that he's waiting for a possible yellow to have a bit more of a chance to repair the car in time.
That, or he wants to have fun racing with Yuga Boss.
Yep.
Because his pace is obviously way... And now we have the yellow.
I wonder what has happened now. Because
Probably because he was going slowly. Probably. Because I don't see any other incident.
Neither do I, and everyone seems to be going flat chap at the moment. 270. Our current leader in Yves Placé hit down the back straight, down the front straight, sorry. It looks like there's no yellow, the race is still going on. Yves Placé is in the lead, David is very close behind him. Looking for a bit of clean air. Don't know if that could be for brakes or the engine, or if he just wants to unsettle Placé, but either way he had a bit of a sneak peek, and Yves actually takes a very shallow line into the hairpin here. It gets fantastic purchase off the corner. It's a big gap yet again.
They're also by now probably playing a bit with the boost because neither of them did stop in the last yellow. They are comfortable in the lead and they will probably want to stretch it and be able to pit on the yellow in the next one. The Jude engine has better fuel economy than the Cosworth in David Jones' car. It's always a gamble there.
Yep, and very close behind those two is Rob Swindells, who's also wanting to buy into this.
Yeah, that's probably the reason that David Jant is right now putting pressure on Yves Placé, because right before he was able to stay with Yves and wasn't putting pressure on him. Probably he was happy with the situation, at least for the moment, but now that he's feeling the pressure from behind, he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Åcerclinth has a bit of a moment going through in the left, but he's able to hold on the inside, but here comes Swindells, gets a good run off the hairpin, but looks like he's running a lot more downforce because Jung just shot off. Could also be a slight different in engines maybe.
So as not to lose his position.
Oh, that's true. Oh dear me, Junt has had a half spin. He overshot the turn one.
That one.
Hopefully we don't get a yellow from that.
In the Phoenix race, and yet he didn't lose it. This time he did.
Well, I think the car bottomed out over the curbs, and that's why he lost it.
Yeah, probably because of the nature of this track, or because of the curves, as you said, that the tire wasn't able to completely settle and regain the grip.
Yeah, and now he'll soon be under pressure, I think, from Grant Ridal, who's had his pit stop and making his way up the field, up to fourth already after the pit stop.
And Ray Ridal is indeed fighting with Juha Pons at his very slow pace, and probably hoping for the yellow. Well, at least it will entertain Juha a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Whereas Michael Dressler.
Now we can see the interesting situation with David after he had that speed. If he's able to catch back the leaders quickly, then it's obvious that he was holding some time in his pocket, and he can really be much quicker. Because we saw that when he felt the pressure from behind, he immediately started being all over Yves Placé, which he wasn't some time before. So if he can catch them right now, then it's obvious what was happening.
Yeah. But it would seem that Yves is running to a fuel number here, because Swindells is right behind him now. Looking up the outside, looks to get a good run, but again Yves gets a good run off the hairpin as well. So as you say, there's probably very different fuel strategies going on. Or at least boost settings going on. Placé runs deep into 3, but Swindels wasn't close enough to take advantage of it. Oh, but he's up the inside here. Oh, and he brakes very late. I think he's got the lead here. He does indeed.
Yeah, Swindell is through.
Great opportunistic move there from Rob. Gets the lead, and I think he'll probably run away with it a little bit here before he has to pit again.
It was a great pass and not exactly in the easiest section of the track. Great move there without touching or anything.
Yeah. Very impressive indeed, especially being able to keep the car within the track boundaries, having broken that late. And a battle for...
Now this fight has given David John the opportunity to submit, but he's himself suffering pressure from Grant Riddle, who is behind him.
Yeah, it looks like Swindels went defensive into turn 1. Up ahead.
Yeah, with the nature of this track, Yves is likely going to try to put some pressure on Rob and see if he makes some mistake. Because a pass here is more bound to happen because of a mistake of the car in front, and because you are able to do a really nice and clean maneuver. Especially if the cars are well paired.
Yeah, and Grant was very close to hitting the wall. If he didn't hit the wall, I'm not entirely sure. It looked very dangerous. He hit the curb at turn 4 and was flung out towards the outside barriers, but I think he was able to just about avoid them. And he is definitely putting the pressure on David Junt now. When he gets a good run off the hairpin, I think he'll have a chance here. He's definitely trying, but Junt takes a very defensive line. Or very late on the brakes. Oh, but Junt still holds on to it. Nice battle here. Oh, but here comes...
Yeah, David is a very late car. He really masters the art of lating. The guy who is probably one of the most difficult to pass on the brake.
Yep, but here comes Grant up the inside. Oh, great careful. Well, careful move. Might be a bit much, but a great move from Grant. And David was able to see him and gave him room to make the move. So great exchange between the two.
Difference or the setup difference, it's obvious that Junt's car is able to change direction quicker than David Junt's one.
Well, probably Junt is probably running a bit less wing maybe, and that's why he's had good straight line speed. But saying that, it looks like Grant is pulling away in the straights, even though Junt should have a bit of a draft from Vidal's car, so that's very interesting to see.
And Rob Swindels, once he has been able to shake off a bit Yves Placé, and is able now to use his usual brake points and turning points and all that without having to take defensive lines, is opening now a gap.
Yeah, it looks like it's a big gap as well, given the close pace between all the cars in the 88 season. Almost all the cars. I should probably revise that in regards to the stock Chevy. It looks like everyone else is fairly... I think David Sabas had a spin indeed, coming through the horseshoe section. He had a bit of a moment, but on a bit too much power, I think. And hopefully that won't be a yellow though, but there is quite a risk. of that being the case. It will seem like we have avoided a safety car, so that's good. Interesting to see the differences in line. Oh, as Grand Vidal has had a spin as well, coming through the horseshoe section, so this brings David Junt up right to his gearbox. See if David has a try down seaside here. No, it doesn't, so he decides to hang back.
Since this is one of the longest we have seen on the green, they are starting to get worn tires here.
Yeah. As David Junt heads into the pits.
Yeah, probably so. He was already on shot tires. This is one of the first, I think the first occasion we have seen someone, at least on the top 10, pit under green.
Apart from Grant Vidal, who pitted just as the green flag came out in one of the restarts. Yeah, I think you're right on that. As
There's a
Rob
quick stop for Vijant, who is already coming out of the pits.
Yeah, and Rob Swindels is now coming up on some lap traffic, and it's actually our previous event winner Alan Forster, who's having a much harder time around Long Beach this evening.
Yeah, from oval to street course, it can be more different, I think.
Yep, and then these cars with
I see Rida in the pits also.
Yeah, and
probably he has finally given up the idea of pitting on the yellow.
Possibly, and coming into the pits as well is Rob Swindels. But Yves Placé is still...
Placé again as leader, but I don't think he will be able to stretch it very much.
Well, I think he's running it until there's only fumes left. Although, as you say, it's probably not that much longer. Probably a couple of laps maybe he'll be able to get out of the car. It's definitely an interest and a very impressive run from him tonight. With that brings Peter Blom up into second, and Rob Swindels comes out in third place, so just behind Peter. Looks like Peter is struggling a little bit on his tires, a bit more sideways than I think he'd like. While Rob on new tires, although with a fuel tank filled. Yeah.
Getting the swing there. Only advantage for Peter may be that Rob's car is now very heavy with the full tank. And yes, indeed, those yards he gains when accelerating from low speed because of having more traction. Here you can see it. It was impossible for Rob to try any move at the end of the straight. But given the difference in fuel load, it's also very probable that Rob is simply waiting until Peter gets into the pits.
Could very well be. Oh, he actually goes up the inside here.
No need for that. No need for that. Yeah.
Ooh. Well, he saw an opportunity.
The opportunistic move, or waiting until he got into the pits.
Yeah. Well, actually, Peter Blom has now moved out of his way, so Rob is up into second place yet again. This looks like David Junt has lost out quite a bit in the pits, at least compared to everyone else. I don't know if Grant came out behind him or not, but he is now ahead. As Grant goes up the inside of Richard Wilkes to put him a lap behind. David Junt will now try to do the same. Although Richard Wilkes seems to have a very good top straight line speed here.
He has been there in the back of grid all the time in this race, and I wonder if he got some kind of damage early in the race, because it's not normal to see him going at such a slow pace. He did some great qualifying laps at the server, and all of a sudden in the race he started going slowly, and I fear maybe he got damage of some kind.
Maybe he was also involved in the restart kerfuffle that is the hairpin, with everyone having to come to a almost stationary halt there, and there were contact. At least Jason told me that he had some, and wouldn't be surprised if that may have happened to Richard Wilkes as well.
So another lap for our leader.
David Junt still hasn't gotten by Richard Wilkes actually. Now I think he will get by coming out of the hairpin. That's David losing a lot of time behind Richard there, but I wouldn't say it's any fault of Richard's, it's just one of those things. This isn't the easiest place to let someone by.
Yeah, because the twisty section of this track is... you almost have only one line there. It must be in the change of direction if the other car is able to do it quicker, as in the case with 2 or 3 of the moves we have seen in earlier laps. Because otherwise there's really not a lot of room. There's room, I mean, in the track, but there is not more than a single line there if the cars are going quick.
Yep. And surprisingly, Yves Placé is still out there in the lead.
Yeah, that's the full economy of it.
I'm surprised he's getting that much out of it, because I'd have expected him to be in the pits by now. But he's working some... both he and the Yard engine in behind him is working some sweet magic.
Maybe he was refueling from safety car.
That's the jet fights.
Yes.
The jet fighters, you mean? On flight.
It looks like he's definitely struggling for tires here, so he'll probably be in a few laps time, unless he's comfortable fighting the car.
Oh, it's too late and I'm falling asleep. So, bye bye.
Okay, take care.
Okay, bye, see you, Michel.
So now Yves Placé comes into the pits, parks right behind Ray
User
Redal, who's still in
disconnected
the
from your
pits.
channel.
Finally there, let's watch and see.
That's actually very unfortunate for Yves, because he will have to go round Ray's car. That will lose him a second or two.
Is past the start-finish lane now.
I think Rob will be ahead by maybe as much as 10 seconds here.
4 or 5 seconds. Let's see. Oh, Grant Bridal also went in between Rob and Yves.
Yeah. That looked very close. He just about was able to slot in behind Grant and ahead of
Peter Blom, yes. At
yeah.
least he avoided getting behind both of them, which would have hurt.
That's definitely true, as Peter Blom is very sideways going through the horseshoe section. You know, getting a lot of wheel spin.
How many laps are left, Jonatan?
We are on lap 74 of 75, so 21 laps.
Okay, then he should be able to easily make it till the end with this full tank. That's his last pit stop. And the only thing he has to do now is with the boost, so that it allows him to overtake Grant Riddle and eventually catch the leader.
Yep.
And any stop by the guys in front mean probably that he's is alone by himself to win the race. We will see, because Rob Swindell had already some laps ago. So if he's to stay out, he won't be able to do that on very high push setting.
Yeah, and both of them, Riddle and Placé is coming up on Jason White, who's struggling with the damaged car. He moves out of the way. Oh, yes, he was sort of looking up the inside of Grant Riddle in the hairpin. Had to check up quite heavily.
5 seconds between Yves and Rob, with Grant in the middle.
Okay, that's good. Good. Oh, he gets a good run at the end of the straight, does Yves, but he isn't quite able to get up past Grant Riddle.
It's very difficult unless you have the other car almost by 2/3 of the straight. Then you won't make it. We have seen that before. I think that's what happened to Martin Lassina 2 times. That if you catch the other car too late, then you might have a run. You might be coming very quickly, but it's impossible for you to then be braking in time.
Ooh, that
Squeezed by.
yeah. That looked a little bit reminiscent of Oganowski and Kowalski, but now almost 40 laps ago now, I think. Luckily they were able to get through that too wide. That lost.
We had forgotten David Junt, but he is right now also on Alan Foster's tail and willing to join the party with Yves and Grant. He's coming quickly and having refueled. I would say that he has also enough fuel to play with the boost and extract some more power from his fourth engine.
Yep, and it would seem like Peter Blom is struggling a lot with probably the tires. He's lost a lot of pace in the last few laps here. Either
Yeah,
that or
he's
he's
hoping for a yellow.
yeah. Yeah, Jun can actually see both Riddle and Placé up ahead of him now, so if there's ever a carrot out for him, it's right here and now.
Swindell's now passing Jan Kowalski. Oof! Kowalski
dear
hit
me.
him in the hairpin. Instead of letting him. What is Kowalski doing with a damaged rear wing? Look at that. His wing is tilted. He's hitting the.
Ooh.
That's not logical.
It's a bit
Kowalski is doing today a guest drive here in this car that was originally scheduled for Bob Wilson, who couldn't compete today. And he seems to be taking things quite lightly.
yeah.
We all know he's a good driver, he's very quick, but he's hitting about everybody in this race. Let's see what happens now that the Yves are coming to him. Well,
Looks
if
like
if
he's.
you look,
Oh no 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 no!
look at the rear wing. If you look from close by, you will see that that wing is completely damaged. That car is damaged and probably he's not able to control it correctly. Let's see if he moves in. Yeah, he's going to the pits for repairs. But he should have done that earlier.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for East because he lost a lot of time with that. Possibly picked up a little bit of damage rubbing the wall, and now he has David Junt right behind him. Actually, oh, he actually goes round outside and goes past. Wow. That's a great move from David
Well,
Junt.
that's a hard blow for Eves, because it's not easy to recover that possession from David, who is coming now with some good rhythm.
Yeah, definitely.
And that hurts because it's the last clean possession.
Yeah, it's, hopefully he'll be able to find his rhythm with the rhythm again in a few laps, and he'll be able to chase after him again.
Kowalski's back on track. I can see that his rear wing is still tilted. So there's still damage in this car that can be fixed. And when coming out of the turns, he's constantly moving and shaking.
There's probably a bit of suspension damage as well, then.
More than a bit, I would say.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to avoid affecting someone else's race, but
I should point out that in the meantime, Juha Boss, with all this madness, the economy of his car is in 8th position. Well, he was just moved down to 8th position by Jan Kowalski, he was in 7th. But at this rate, considering the Phoenix race, it seems that this car is actually lucky.
well, it can also be the drivers of the car being using what power and consistency the car does have to its fullest advantage.
Yeah, what also happens is that when you're driving this car, then you actually have a very different approach to the race. You're not willing to get into fights or stupid mangle tangles with anybody. You're just going to mind your own business. And in that situation, it usually happens that well, you don't get into trouble, and in attrition races, you get a lot of benefit in the end.
Yep. A beautiful sounding engine it is. I just have to say that again.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's the kind of sound that you don't hear anymore in the racing cars nowadays, because when you have, for example, in the Formula 1 vacuum cleaners instead of engines, then you know that you are absolutely at the end of the golden era in that regard.
Yep. Let's have another look. Looks like that's Mikola that Place and Junt has just lapped, I say, but Mikola goes up the inside of Place, going down shoreline. He backs out of it and lets Place take turn 1 as he wants. It looks like Place has found his rhythm, at least partly, because he's keeping up with David Junt's Cosworth. Almost looked like Junt made a mistake then, but he was able to hold on to the car. And I wonder with, what is it now, 15 laps to go, whether Rob Swindells can make it to the end.
And Yves now seems to be on the move. He has probably already decided that his fuel economy is enough, and he is able to rise the boost, and is now on David Junt's tail. And we'll see, because that's one of the situations where the real driver of car had one of the same abilities that the virtual driver has, because David Junt is a very late breaker. Let's see what happens here. Wow, that was a very easy pass for Yves Placé.
Yeah, it looks like David Jons is running lower boost because Yves
Yeah,
Placé was passed long before the
He
braking zone.
absolutely had less speed, less acceleration. Probably David was even a bit surprised by that. Maybe didn't expect Yves to raise the boost and go for it. Because it looks certainly too easy for Yves. Probably David noticed already when it was too late.
Yeah, I think he went with the discretion is the better part of valor there, and I think he'll try to hook on to Yves now and be dragged. Ooh. Well, I say
David
that
is
and he looks
usually
up the
a very
inside.
clean driver, and he won't be doing stupid things in a desperate situation. He knows there will be another opportunity for him, and if he knows that he has lost the position, even if it's because of the other car placement, he will concede it, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think he'll be looking to get dragged up to Grant, as I was saying earlier, and maybe getting a podium even with being passed by Yves here.
Richard Wilkes is in the pits now. Looks like a routine pit stop. But a certainly long one.
Maybe picked up some more damage
Lighting
then.
up the tires now. And this pit stop, of course, gives him even more chances than of catching Juha Boss, who is in 8th position. I don't know the lap difference between the both of them, but in any case, Juha is still a good stretch in front of him.
Yeah.
The top 10 is now run by Pascal Mikula, who after all the incidents he has been in the race is still able to hold on there. So David Jung now trying to keep Placé again, or at least not to lose him, in case he makes an error like this. Whoa, that was close for Yves.
Ooh, and David Jung gets a very sideways.
Yeah.
Both of them really trying hard here.
Let's see if both of them now can catch Grant Riddle. Because the gap certainly seems to have diminished a bit. The last laps. What's David doing?
Probably trying to unnerve Yves. Yves made one mistake, he can probably make more. That's what David is thinking.
Yeah, it's probably trying to let Yves know that he is going to try to overtake him. Show himself in Yves' mirrors. We'll see if this time he has a good run. No, but Yves seems to be on a much higher boost, because I can tell you that the Jada engine is not as powerful as the Cosworth, so again, this strange move by David. So it's obvious that Yves is running a higher boost, probably because his fuel economy is better. He's using the fact that he's later than David, I think.
Yeah, I think there's about 10, maybe even 15 laps between them.
Ooh. Power sliding it all around.
Yeah, definitely giving it their all.
Yeah, that's also because Yves is likely nothing with the boost up and down depending on the section of the track, and he has now the extra power. It also is noticeable when you're coming out of the turns. The engine is not just more powerful, but also more peaky, more violent, which means that it's not as easy to control throttle-wise.
I've also noticed that the gap between first and second has gone down by almost 2.5 seconds since a few laps ago. There's 9 laps to go now. I wonder if Grant will be able to catch him past Rob here for first position, although I don't think Rob would be wanting to give it up without a fight. It looks like we'll have two fights going on for... Oh, Grant is definitely trying. He was all sideways, going up towards Michaelov.
Well, if Yves going to keep podium position, he's certainly going to have to earn it. Because David is not making it easy for him. I think that David just the wall there. Probably not any damage, quite telling of how hard he's pushing it.
Yeah. Looks like it's finally turned into a 10-lap sprint with 10 laps to go. A bit more laps to go when Yves and David went at it, but still going on. But Yves
indeed is closing on Rob Swindell's. Not sure if this is a fuel situation or a tire degradation, but he's coming very quickly.
It would almost look like it's more of a tire thing, because Rob pitted quite a few laps earlier than what Grant did, and Grant has certainly enough fuel to make it. And
yeah, and with all the wheel spin and understeer that you have in these corners, you are constantly killing the tires. So it isn't really that difficult, that hard to imagine what is happening.
Oh, and lap cars getting into this as well, with Michael Drechler being the first one to be lapped this time around. Now Rob is right up behind him, and Drechler goes deep in the hairpin and lets Swindell's past.
Yeah, but Grant came too late to this and is probably going to suffer from having Michael in front of him for this slow section, which will of course hurt.
Well, by the looks of things, Rob hasn't gained anything either. Well, Rob has his teammate. Oh, actually a bit of contact between Vidal and Drechler there.
Michael made it very well. He didn't panic. He just went deeper into the turn to let him by, but Grant was obviously very much in a hurry.
Yep. And here goes Grant behind, past Jason White. Sorry, I misidentified the cars. I thought that was Pascal Mikolov. It definitely looks like anything can happen here with 7, maybe 6 laps to go now. But it looks like developer third has split off, because Junt is now a good few seconds, well, good few, but a couple to 3 seconds behind Yves Placé. But I don't think Yves has enough speed to catch the guys ahead, so he'll have to wish or hope for either an incident or fuel to be an issue for these guys. But I think Grant is good on fuel. It would be Rob that's still on the fence.
It wouldn't be the first case here, and not even in this season of IndyCar racing, where someone runs out of fuel of the finish line, side of the finish line. We will see what happens.
Oh, Grant gets very sideways.
He certainly looks portable there in the car. And I think that Grant just made something strange, because he was on the right side of the, looking from Yves' perspective.
It looked like Grant put a bit too much power on and got a lot of wheel spin as a result. I also noticed that he was
smoking the tires in the picking, in the accelerating, everywhere. Oh, and he's touching the wall there. He's anxious now that he's seeing Grant Riddle. He, if not directly catching, he wants to put him enough pressure, because Grant right now knows that a small error, if he's close enough, might mean that he loses that position. And that's already some pressure.
Definitely. 6 laps to go now.
He seems to be coming closer.
I
That's
may have
one of
spoken
those
too
things
soon,
that-
huh?
When you smell the blood in the water, it always helps.
Yeah, and it looks like Rob has found some pace as well. Maybe he's good for fuel now because he's lit the tires up and the car up, and he's now flying. He's pulled out a good bit of a gap to Grant. I think Grant may have driven the car too hard because he's losing a lot of time now.
And if he's four-wheel sliding the car into many corners. He's really dicing it here. Whoa! There you get it. What unfortunate incident for him. He lost the front wing. He had been sliding it in the previous turns. And now look what happened.
That's very unfortunate indeed.
Yeah, he didn't enter the pit for reverse because he probably thinks he has a better chance of points finishing instead of pitting. But I can see that not only lost the wing, but he must have suspension damage, I think, because his car is bottoming out.
Yeah, I think his left front is damaged quite heavily here. Yeah, it's definitely it's lifting off the road very
So
clearly.
that puts David Jonatan on the podium, and he will be the championship leader after this race.
If he's able to finish where he is, yes.
Yeah,
that's the biggest issue.
Yes. Unless he is Mikulais or Kowalskis.
As I said, it looks like Rob has been biding his time, waiting for his fuel windows to be good, and he has extended his gap by quite a bit. Fortunately, I can't see exactly by how much now, but it must be a good second or two. He's increased his gap by a second since we last checked on the difference between them. So unless something unpredictable happens, it looks like Rob Swindells will take his maiden win on his own in HSO. I think he and
Oh, and Grant Riddle went sideways and hit wall hard with the side of the car. Yeah, they are on shot tires, obviously.
we did it in the same place where he's been sideways the whole race. I think this would be Rob Swindells' maiden win in HSO on his own. I think he won the Silverstone 6 hours a few weeks ago. That was driving with someone else, so if you can get it. Well, actually, looking at the gap now, it looks like it's closed up again. It hasn't. It's my bad. I think
without front wing is still in fourth position. Let's see if he can make it end like that, even if he's going slow, because that would certainly help him. Fourth is still a good points paid position.
Yep, and it looks like Peter Blom is quite ways back. He's going into the hairpin now. So he
And
has.
Ross Swindells just.
Oh yes, he's had a spun.
And Grant Riddle by. Grant is leader right now. No? Or is the race finished? How many laps?
There's still a race going
on.
on. There should still be a race going on, I think. I wonder whatever happened here. Yeah, there's still a race on, but I don't know if this will bring us to the finish. It's 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go. Grant Riddle is going really slow now. He must have completely finished tires. And Ross Swindells, who has recovered from the Smith, coming behind him.
Well, this would be very interesting. I think this is the last lap, actually, in lap 94 of 95.
And none of them has any tires. And David Sauber has broken his engine meanwhile. Wow, what a drama-full lap.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. and that we unfortunately can't catch on the broadcast, but it's very unfortunate for him.
Car, I can see the safety car there. That's the reason why they slowed down.
Yep.
So it seems that the race could indeed finish in the safety car.
Yeah, and what a way to get a win, but a win is a win.
But anticlimactic.
Yes, it is, but then again, that's what can happen sometimes. So it looks like Grant Vidal will grab the win here, as I think we're on the last lap. And heartache for Rob Swindells, dropping to second on the second to last lap. But at the same time, great feelings and whooping, whoring in the pits afterwards, I think, for David Junt, who, by the looks of things, will get third. With Yus Placer getting fourth, even with that last minute drama. So that's good for him. And fifth, it would look like, would be Peter Blom. Let's see if this is the finish coming through here. It is indeed. So Grant Vidal grabs the win here tonight at Long Beach, finishing on the yellow after a spin on the second to last lap for Rob Swindells, who gets second. Third, as I mentioned, for David Junt, so he'll be very happy with that. Yus Placer gets fourth, Peter Blom fifth, sixth for Jan Kowalski, even with those issues for him, so he'll be very happy with that. David Saber gets sixth, even with a broken engine. Seventh for Richard Wilkes, I think he'll be happy with that recovery drive. Eighth for Pascal Mikola. Ninth for Alan Forster. 10th for Michael Drechler. 11th for Michael Drechler. So 10th for Alan Forster. 12th for Juha Bo, so he dropped back in the last bits of the race, unfortunately. 13th for Jason White, and I think he was the last runner unless Ray was able to continue after his repairs. 13th for Ray Riddell, and David Yates we saw retire with 30 or so laps to go, unfortunately, but yeah, that's this evening's racing. And what a race we had! That's was very good fun to watch from about halfway to the finish with the green flag running, but unfortunately a very anticlimactic finish to the event. So we'll see if anyone will be wanting to join us.
Sound muted. Sound resumed.
So we'll take a minute or so just to wait to see if
User
that's
joined
the
your
case.
channel.
Yep, we are now joined. Just give me a moment to close down my
User joined your
R-Factor
channel.
install and see. We are joined by quite a few actually. So we are joined by
User left your channel.
David Junt and Pascal Mikola. So good evening, David and Pascal, and congrats, David, on third place.
Good evening, thanks.
User joined your channel.
And we're also now joined by Peter Blom.
Hello. I'm sweating. Oh, damn it.
I think everybody is now.
Yeah. Oh, man. So many yellow courses, and the last 30 or 40 laps, there was only one. I had to make an extra pitch. Shit.
I had to struggle all race. I was hit. Steve hit me in the back in a one of pace car face, and I was last. I was furious.
Oh, too bad.
Don't forget, guys, you're swearing on the cast right now, you know.
It was still on the broadcast. So I think we'll talk with David first. So how was your race from your perspective? And again, congrats on your third place.
Thanks. Well, I wasn't really happy with my March 88C. It didn't really want to be like turning in, and when it did, I always nearly had my rear end coming with it, so it's like balancing act on the car. Even though it wasn't that bad, it was okay, but I just didn't feel safe and really fast today, so I played like weight game, going a bit up the other than down when pitching again, so took it mostly easy, to be honest. I really wanted to finish the race and paid off again. In the end, I just had a bit of luck that it looks like Eve lost his front wing and I got third place from him after we had quite a close on track, but I guess I just lucked one, or at least, as you say, the third place was more, I think, than mine to win, so well, it happens, but third place, I can't compare that. After sixth, it was quite a lucky comeback or finish at Phoenix, so it's looking better than it felt today, yeah.
That's good to hear that, even with sort of a lacking pace, lacking car situation, you were able to get that kind of finish. Let's see, Pascal, how was your race from your end? I saw that you were quite a few, but a lap or a couple down quite early on in the race.
Yeah, that was really eventful. I don't know, I was actually feeling quite comfortable with the race setup on the car, even though I only had like 20 minutes of practice. And then, you know, all the safety cars. Actually, I think one of the first ones was kind of caused by me and Alberto coming together and like colliding. Like he attacked me and kind of went too far. So that was I think the first one. I lost my front wing there, so I had to go to get some repairs. And then I think 2 or 3 pace car phases later, I got hit in the back by Steve Parker. But because Juha was in front of me, he slowed down, and I had to slow down too because I didn't want to hit him. But Steve forgot where the brake pedal was, probably, I don't know. So he hit me in the back, and that was kind of really bad for me because I had to spend almost, I think, 4 minutes or something in the pits getting this thing repaired, and I'm really glad that I made it to 9th place right now.
That's very unfortunate, but good to hear that you're still happy with the way you finished. And Peter, how was your race from your end? I think you finished 5th in the end, right?
Yeah. Well, I never expected to finish this race because I had a hard time to practice. I had a hard time to make 3 laps in a row without an accident.
Microphone activated.
And I took it easy in the beginning, but it looks like that some people with very fast qualifying setups, some people in front of me were slower in the race somehow. And I could overtake a few people, but also in the beginning there were so many full yellow courses behind the safety car. I was not quite used to that. I'm not really an IndyCar driver, but actually, well, the second race was the second part of the race was much better because there was really some racing going on and strategies with tires, I think. And oh yeah, I had a little together with I think Richard Wilkes in around lap 20. So if it was my mistake, then my apologies. But I have to see the replay first. And I lost my front wing there. But after that, you know, easy to stay within one lap because all those accidents happening in the first 30 laps. And second part of the race, I can remember some people who were quite faster, like Grant, were behind me, and I just let them pass me on the straight because there's no point fighting them. I have to concentrate on finishing the race, and eventually finished 5th, so happy with that.
That's good to hear that you're happy with the way you finished. Did notice that you dropped the pace later on, but that's good to hear. That was the reason that there weren't too big damage going on or something like that. The next step.
I had to make an extra pit stop 19 laps before the end because I did not have enough fuel, about 15 liters too little, and also my back, the back tires were going down, so it was very difficult to drive, and it was a good decision to make a pit stop then for the tires and a little bit of fuel.
Okay, that sounds like sounds unfortunate, but good that you were able to work around it as such. Alberto, do you have any further questions to our gentleman?
No, I was just going to say thank you all and bye-bye because I have to quit now. So see you next time. Hopefully you will be doing the broadcast at Indianapolis, not with mean that I will be able to finish the race, but otherwise, always fun to help here.
Thank
Good to hear.
you guys.
Thank you very much for joining me and helping out. Hope you have a better event
User
next time.
disconnected from your channel.
So with Indianapolis coming up in May, what are your thoughts about the upcoming event? One at a time, please.
I'm just gonna start since no one volunteers. Indianapolis, I mean, come on, it's a 500-mile race. Everybody's gonna be excited, and I hope to get a drive. That's the most important thing, and then I hope I will be able to qualify, since last year when we ran 73, I've totally screwed that up.
Okay, and maybe David next.
What?
With him.
Your thoughts on the Indy 500.
D500 already?
Yeah, it's
May.
it's the next event in May.
Oh god. Same strategy. I'm gonna play like waiting game, turtle at the back end of the field, and just hope I'm not where the crashes happen. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm not really at home at Ovals, and just probably looking to finish in top 10.
Okay, and Peter to finish off.
My plan is to finish in front of David Junt, and then my race is okay.
Gotta save some fuel, though. Although I nearly ran out of it today. I nearly underfueled when I pitted.
Yeah. Actually, I'm holding my HSO 1973 Indianapolis 500 winner of 2016. I'm holding it right now. So maybe yeah, I've got it here. I've got it. And maybe it brings me some luck for the next event. But I know there are some very fast guys, and also there are some guys with better engines and maybe also the chassis. But I think at least I have to receive a very good setup because I'm a bit like David, not very good at setups. So I hope somebody will give a very good March setup.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think with that we'll wrap up the broadcast. We've been going for a good 3 and a bit hours, so thank you, thank you guys for joining us for the post-race interviews, and thank you for the show you guys put up, and to everyone who tuned in, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you tune into the next one. The next broadcast should be the F191 British Grand Prix in 1 week's time.
So stern.
So again, thank you very much for watching, and see you all in in about a month's time at Indianapolis, if not sooner. But yeah.
Thank you.
Peter, I'm gonna steal that truck.
Sound muted. Microphone muted.
See you all in about a month's time at Indianapolis, if not sooner. But yeah.
Thank you.